gonna wait until the notification go on out. While the notification goes out, I'm gonna go ahead and set up so I can see the chat. Okay, we are waiting for the notification to go on out. It does not look like the notification has went up yet because I have not gotten it. Okay, we are waiting for the notification to go on out. Hmm, interesting, y'all. Um, all right, we're waiting for the notification to go on out, and I'm multitasking at the moment. What's going on? I have not gotten my notification yet. Hmm. Okay, let me try one more thing. It's not even showing that I'm live. Oh, boom, there we go. Okay, found it. All right, I found it. Okay, found it. Okay, we are live. So my notification just came in. We're gonna start at the 5 minute mark while I wait for the notification to go on out. I'm gonna go get ahead and grab me some water. Hey Kim, how are you, my love? I don't know. It took me a second for the notification to come in on my end, so I don't even know. And then you know what I just realized, Kim? I just found like at least 7 of my videos in somebody else's channel, my face and everything. So I don't know if they posted them in their playlist. I don't know if they're I don't know. I'm gonna have to go research that. But I found like 7 of my videos from years ago in somebody else's on somebody else's channel. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, and then we can have everyone watch the playback, or maybe I can revisit some of the things that I'm gonna go over tonight. Okay, so first of all, I want to go ahead and put my disclaimer out there so we can begin. All right. First and foremost, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know that I'm so happy that you've chosen yourself. You're gonna see a little glare on the camera right now. Um, because I just turned on my overhead light, but I'll turn it off in a second. Thank you, appreciate the love. I really, really do. I really, really do appreciate the love. So thank you for that. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome. All right, we about to get started tonight. I'm so excited for what we have coming up. It's really amazing when you choose yourself and when you really begin to fall in love with yourself, you know, the type of love where you get overflow that you can give to others, right? Not the type of love that you're loving externally to get validation and love back from others, but the type of love that you're loving internally and you can give freely to others without without expectations, without expecting them to meet whatever needs you think they should be meeting, right? Because you're meeting your own needs, right? Now, there is boundaries that you can put in place, but you're not looking outside of yourself for anyone else to love you, okay? So, this was the perfect time for me to go ahead and get my disclaimer, okay? I gotta write it down, y'all, because I'll be forgetting. Okay, first and foremost, all right? These messages are not for everyone, okay? If you do not like to do your work or take accountability for your thoughts, your emotions, or your actions, these videos will not resonate with you, okay? So you can go ahead and click on by, all right? I am not your regular tarot reader. We do not really get into so much of the messiness. We figure you out, okay? So instead of trying to figure out other people's shit, we try to figure out your shit, okay? Now, with that being said, access is going to be granted to you in the spiritual world based on what you give yourself permission for. So whatever you believe, okay, whatever limits you put on yourself is based on the limits you're going to have access to the spiritual realm, okay? It's also based on your inner knowing or what they would call your inner gnosis, okay? So please be mindful of that, all right? And I'm also going to say that energy is fluid, so I can say that this feels like the other person's energy, but if it's really you doing the crazy shit and the messy shit, then you want to go ahead and apply that energy to where it needs to be, okay? And last but not least, this is the most important thing if you don't get anything else that I say for my disclaimer, okay? I am not your guru. I am Kamoy, okay? I am a human being having an experience just like you, which means I embrace all aspects of myself. So depending on the day, I could be operating and, working on some dark side shit. And then, depending on the day, I could be on some light side shit, Either which way, my intention is always to move in love, all right? So when you are your own guru, you know that there's a light and a dark side of you, right? Like sometimes you can be moody, messy, depending on what type of mess, and sometimes you can be loving and kind, right? It states the mind. So just know that you are a very complex being with many levels to you, and there is no right or wrong or better version of you. There's only all of you, okay? And once you embrace all of you, guess what? You can call yourself out for being a hypocrite and being moody and being nasty to somebody and then wondering why somebody was nasty to you, right? That's how it works. When you're able to see yourself, you're able to course correct your emotions, course correct your thoughts, and course correct your actions so you can get the proper experiences, aka manifestations that you want to experience, okay? So with that being said, that's my disclaimer. We're going to go ahead and set the tone so we can start the message. Oh, I got a few notes, y'all. Okay, I got a few notes, okay? First of all, I need to set some foundations before we start next week, all right? So we may do a face-to-face live tomorrow where you can actually see my face tomorrow, right? To set the foundations for our Monday kickoff, right? So Monday we're kicking off everything we've been talking about for the past month, how you can begin to implement this into your actual day-to-day life. You're going to be getting a lot of information, okay, on how this stuff works, but also what's happening in you and in your environment and around you, okay? With that being said, my suggestion is that you get yourself a journal because you're going to need one if you're doing this work, okay? Or get yourself a couple of journals. I got 3 journals that I'm rocking with right now for different things. Each one of these journals do different things, okay? So we're going to establish a foundation within the next couple of days for resonance, okay? And what it means, how you can move forward in resonance, okay? So instead of finding a frequency, you are going to be admitting the frequency, okay? That in which you seek is also seeking you. The only thing is you just don't remember that it's you, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to be discussing before Monday is our spiritual toolbox. You need to know what tools you have, what works, what doesn't work. Maybe get rid of some of the tools that no longer work for you, that you've outgrown. Okay, so we're going to talk about the spiritual toolbox. We're also going to talk about owning your shit, because that's going to be important as we are moving in this journey. Okay, next, we're going to talk about creating your spiritual routine. Also, you're going to have to talk about staying grounded and hydrated, because that's going to be needed along this journey. And last but not least, oh wait, no. You want to allow also the sacred things to be sacred. And last but not least, okay, you don't have to do the fucking work. All right. So these are the things that we're going to be going over before Monday. I will try maybe to do them in maybe two lives, because it's a lot of information. But I need to establish these foundations before Monday. Okay, so we're gonna be discussing these things leading up to Monday. All right. So I got my notes done. I told you about the water. I told you about the journal. Perfect. Okay, so we can get into this. Okay, we can get started. Get the notes out of the way. All righty. So we're gonna go ahead, get your water. Okay, I'm gonna start just getting used to telling you to get your water. All right, starting Monday, I suggest that you come with your water, because we are going to be charging our water. Okay, and I will also break that down to you how that works. Okay, and the reason for charging the water and how it can benefit you as part of your tool in your spiritual toolbox. Okay, so if you can, go ahead and get your water. Okay, you got time, go get your water before we begin. But definitely starting Monday, you're going to want to come with your water, okay? Here we go. We do the shuffle, and now we're about to sound to set the tone for this live transmission message. I think Mercury's going into retrograde, y'all. Let's see. All right, if you're coming on into the building, if you could please kindly put a thumbs up on the video, that would be so helpful, y'all. Okay, here we go, babies. We're doing 4 tones because we are dealing with the 4 elements, okay, as we are moving through this energy. So we're going to do 4 tones. Okay, as I sound the tones, you definitely want to go ahead and take you a deep breath for the count of 4. Inhale and exhale for the count of 6, okay? I'm going to hit that side again because that side was a little flat. And the last tone. Okay. All right. What I'm trying to get you used to is to creating a spiritual routine. So we're setting the atmosphere every time we get on these live, and we're creating our own spiritual routine here, so we can tap into the resonance in which we are connecting to. Okay, so this is about no longer seeking for the frequency or raising your vibration. This is now you are that vibration in which you seek. Okay, all right. So I do want you to know that these messages that I am bringing to you, okay, the Quasi era, these messages are being channeled through the Council of 12, as well as the Quasis. Not to mention, from the Quasi, I have a guide that comes through Jody, and Jody's more of an interface electronically, so we're not gonna get into Jody tonight. But Tidaqua was the first person that came through the Quasi field. Okay, now you do need to know the Quasi field is engulfing the earth right now. So the Quasi field energy has entered into our grid. Okay, and this is just quantum energy. This is why everything feels like it's speeding up. All right. Now, do your own research. You don't have to believe me, okay? You can go ahead and you can do your own research, and you can look this stuff up, okay? You definitely can see what's going on in the atmospheres. We have comets that they necessarily at this point cannot identify what the comets are doing. The comments are just letting you know that we've entered into the quasi field, okay? Now, also keep in mind that we're operating on two different calendar systems. We're operating on the Gregorian calendar system, which is a solar calendar, but we're also operating on the Bulgarian calendar system, which is a cosmic and a solar calendar, which is going to be needed as we're moving through this energy, okay? This is about you being able to trust yourself, okay? This is about you being able to love yourself. And this is about you being able to remember. All right? Okay, so overall tone that we have coming out today is 33, miracle. Okay? Now, why is this important? You know, the number 33, just so you know, right, is a master number. And a lot of people, like, will connect it maybe to like Freemasons and stuff like that. But the 33 has a connection to the 33 vertebrae in your spine. And so it has nothing to do with the Masons. It's all about the body. Okay, so we're talking about the 33 vertebrae in your spine, okay, in which the Kundalini energy has to move up through the spine, okay. Once it gets to the top of the 33 degree in your spine, it hits your Macabre energy, okay, and that is where you can begin to travel in your light body. All right, so give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Just bear with me. Okay. Let's get into this. Okay. All right. So we got the miracle card and we got the actuarian card showing up here, and we're going to tap into energetically what you need to know. Let me get glasses here. Okay, so 33, like I explained, is all about the energy moving up your spine. This is Kundalini energy. This is Kundalini awakening. This is really where you tap into what they would consider to be miracles. This is where you begin to bend space and time. Okay, and let me just tell you something right now. Bending space and time has to do with your perception. Okay, and being able to see that things are not so linear, but they're curved, okay? Everything folds into itself, all right? And we're going to be unpacking all of that next week, okay? So miracles here is saying the frequency of miracles supports our beliefs in ourselves as a part of source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible, okay? Now the Lupin energy is feeling safe, the wisdom keepers, and energy of concern. And the Aquarian energy, just so you know, we are not talking so much about the actual being, okay? We're talking about the energy that this being represents, okay? Please, when you get into archetypes, especially when you get into pattern recognition, you begin to understand that it's really energy, and there can be one energy where all one energy pattern that houses several different I want to say expressions of that energy, okay? So just like fear could be procrastination, fear could be envy, fear could be jealousy, right? So although fear is one particular energetic patterns, you can have it playing out in many different ways. So that's what we do here. We're paying attention to energetic patterns and archetypes so you can see them. And then we're teaching you how to navigate through your own body, okay, your own emotions, how you can move through these energy archetypes and fields, okay? So supporting this tone is the Lupin energy. That's about wisdom keepers. This energy is about feeling safe. This energy is about emotional intelligence. This energy is also about you, I want to say, taking the risk, okay, even though you're scared, okay. This energy is about stillness and listening to yourself. This energy is about maybe confiding in people that's supportive and not people that's not supported. Maybe gaining a mentor or a coach. This energy is also very insightful and very rational, okay? Now, I want to say this is beautiful energy that's being supported. I'm going to tell y'all what I did today, okay? First of all, what I did today was very interesting, guys. Today, I spent the day doing some self-love, okay? I played love music all day. And I just want to say by me playing love music all day, I wasn't playing love music or love songs to anyone else. I was just playing love music and love songs to myself, okay? Now, there is a frame of mind, I want to say, that you should have when you're entering into anything new, okay? So the frame of mind that you should have when you're entering into anything new is a mind of making sure that you have the proper boundaries, but you also have to be vulnerable to taking the risk, okay? So you can't be in the frame of mind that you're looping from old things, okay? So whenever you have an opportunity for a new beginning, it's going to be asking you to have a different perspective and see things differently, right? Remember yesterday we had the energy of, what was it? Perception, right? And it was important for you to be able to perceive things differently, okay? It's the same thing here, okay? Your perception, how you're moving through things, is going to have to change. If you think something is too difficult, then you're going to have that experience of things being difficult, okay? If you think things are going to flow with synchronicity, all right, and with the least resistance, then you're going to have the experience where things are flowing with synchronicity and the least resistance. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to go through, challenges or things that you have to, overcome or level up past. It doesn't mean that. What it does mean is that you get to a place where you are the alchemist, right? You're able to see things from a different level where you're not tapping so much into fear, but you're tapping into your inner strength and your inner guidance, okay? Now, let me just say this, okay? Whenever we see the ancestors guide come up here in alchemy, right? This is going to require you to begin to pay attention to the subtle energies, which mean energies that you cannot see, but energies you can feel, okay? That's going to be important, all right? Now remember, the Lupin energy here for miracles and your activation or mastering or activating your Kundalini is wisdom keepers, right? So I'm not surprised that the ancestors' energy jumped out here, okay? This is how this is unfolding. You being able to tap into the miracles that you have within yourself, especially with the support and energy of the wisdom keepers, is coming through as an alchemic transmission, okay? Which means that you are going to have to reframe things. That is a term that they teach you in NLP, like neuro-linguistic programming, the art of reframing things, right? And when you reframe something, it doesn't mean that you do not see it, right? It means that you take an inventory. Let's say at the end of the night, you had a tough day, okay? So you're going to take an inventory at the end of the night from the day that you had. You're going to look at the day, maybe what was said, what was done, and maybe see your role in how things played out. Okay, maybe you were triggered and you didn't handle it very well. Maybe you triggered somebody else and they tried to project that, okay? And then before you go to bed, you can imagine in your mind how you would have wanted that situation to unfold and reframe it, like literally replay the day or replay the situation over in your mind. So your conscious mind, right, is not looping on maybe keeping you in guilt or shame, or avoiding the person, right? Because you didn't really like the conversation. Just so you know, every night before you go to sleep, you have an opportunity to reframe and you reprogram your day and also set yourself up for the next day. Okay, that's important. Hey, Cheryl, how you doing, my love? Oh, is it morning here in the UK, Cheryl? Because it's like 8:30 over here. Okay. Now, here's where it's important, and I want to talk about this, okay? This is unfolding not only just through you being able to use your inner alchemy, and I'm going to talk about how you use your inner alchemy in a second, right? This is not only about you being able to use your inner alchemy, but it's also you being able to look towards the now and not look back in the past. Okay, so like when I tap in to the future, right? The future is really not far. The future is really right here. So your past, your now, and your future is really all happening at the same time. All right. And of course that sounds confusing, right? And let me show you how that happens, right? So if we're having a conversation and let's say, you're repeating, an incident that hurts you, and this thing hurts you deeply, okay? And we're having a conversation and you're telling me about what hurt you deeply, right? And you're not able to at least pull out the lessons, or you're not able to laugh at that situation or tell me what you learned from this situation, but it still gets you in a place where you're mad. You're literally in your past moment in the now. Okay, so let me say that again. Every time you replay a traumatic incident and you're still replaying it in fear, anger, doubt, shame, okay, or whatever emotions you had when that original that action or feeling or triggering took place, okay, every time you retell that story or every time you think about that story, if you still feel triggered, annoyed, angry, you're still living in the past. Okay? Just so you know. Okay. Yes, emotions get trapped in your muscles when trapped. They absolutely do. Okay? You also need to know this too, okay? So how does your now moment affect your future? Okay, so let's say in this now moment, so how does your now moment and your future happen at the same time? It can happen two ways, okay? So your now moment and your future moment can happen at the same time in two ways. Let me explain the two ways that it can happen, okay? So you're constantly either living in the past or living in the now or living in the future, all right? So when you're living in the now, you are neutral. You don't judge anything, you just let things unfold. And that is something that we have to train ourselves to do, because naturally we're not taught to just be neutral, right? We're taught to label something good or bad, right? We're taught to label something maybe a mistake, or righteous, right? We're not taught to allow things to flow and treat them as experiences, because our souls are evolving. We're not taught that, right? So we're either taught to stay in the past, right, which is going to predict your future, right, or stay in the future, right, which is going to fuck up your now moment. Right? So if you're too much in the future and you're thinking about too much of the future, you miss what you need to do right now. So if you're too busy planning for the future, right, you are not paying attention to what you need to do right now. But if you're too busy living in the past, you're not paying attention to what's going on right now. Right? The now moment is the neutral moment. Your now moment is where you can begin to bend space and time. Your now moment is where you can catch yourself, right? And then once you catch yourself, decide within your now moment where you want to be. If you want to be in the past, if you want to be in the now, if you want to be in the future. All of that is happening at the same time, okay? So, oh my gosh. Can I just say something? Cheryl, did you learn that you learned this in anatomy? And okay, now Cheryl, isn't it interesting how all of that connects with Reiki? Because I think you said yesterday that you studied Reiki also. That was the most amazing thing for me is when I went in for Reiki. Okay, and let me just tell anybody this, right? If any of you are thinking to going to get certified as a Reiki healer, okay, let me just give you a heads up right now, okay? This right here, message right here, what I just said about the past, the future, and the present is something that you're going to have to master as a Reiki healer, okay? Because when you go in to become a Reiki healer, where you are going to be helping others to tap into their own energetic field and their energy body, okay, or the emotional body so they can do the healing. Okay, first of all, let me just say this about Reiki, okay? In Reiki healing, what I have learned personally and what I've been told by my guides, okay, I'm not quite sure if I don't remember if they say this in the books, okay, but this is what I've learned. You can heal someone energetically in Reiki, but if that person does not believe in the healing, once they leave the vortex of the energy that you've poured into them, okay, that ailment can come back. All right. So even as a Reiki healer, you're really not healing anybody. You open up the portals for them to heal themselves. Okay. Let me say that again. Even as a Reiki healer, I am really not healing you. I am opening up the portals within you so you can begin to heal yourself. Okay. That's how this works. This is why the placebo effect works, right? So when the doctors give the water pill, right, or the sugar pill or whatever they give, and you think you're getting, like medication, blood pressure medication, and your pressure goes down and you don't even know you're taking a water pill, right? That is because you have triggered your own inner healing. That's why the placebo effect works. Okay? Now, you can begin to study this because science has caught up with that. Science has caught up that we heal our own body. So we are not pre-genetically bound to any disease that ran in our family, okay? We've only been accepting that because that's what we've been told, okay? But when you begin to study epigenetics, you know that you have access to every disease, right? But your mind and your emotions, okay, and what you agree to energetically in your body is what can turn off and on these triggers or these senses in the body, okay, to either heal or bring forth disease, all right? Okay, so, all right, Cheryl says, woke up with a big ass jump. Really? I want to say something though. The energy's been interesting this week. Okay, I watch my heart. Okay, what bees and blanket theories. Okay, it all happens at the same time. It does. It's all happening at the same time, and I think that's the like the brain trick that you got to get past, right? Okay, so I can even tell you this, right? So, when I became an NLP programmer, and if you don't know what NLP means, NLP means neuro linguistic programming, right? This is where you study human behavior, and this is where you learn to go in and help somebody, let's say heal their inner child. And as you go in to help people heal their inner child, you can also place anchors in the subconscious mind, right, to remove blocks or to create new habits, okay? So one of the anchors that I have placed in myself, it lands right here. So I have an anchor right here, okay? And when I press right here, this takes me back to a particular space and time in my mind. So whenever I get stressed or whatever, all I got to do is press right here, right? And I got an anchor. And then as soon as I press in, I go exactly in my mind to where this anchor is stuck at. Now, just so you know, this is used in politics in particular, okay? So let me show you how this, and even in religion, okay? You know when you turn on the TV to watch, let's say, the nightly news, whether it's the desk that they sit up or the podium that the president stands at or the podium that the pastor stands at, those are anchor points, okay? Just so you know, those are anchor points, okay? So when you walk into a room, whether it is your office, whether it is your bedroom, whether it is your bathroom, you can create anchor points that has tremendous energy, Okay? So that way anybody else walks into that field of energy, they will recognize your anchor point. Okay? Your anchor point. Not anchor point, your anchor point. Okay? So and you can tell. So if let's look at it like from the standpoint of, let's say, church, or any type of event. There's a reason why there's a stage. The stage is the anchor point. Okay, just so you know, and you can make anchor points in your life. Like, there's some science to this shit. All right. So in neuro linguistic programming, they do train us how to anchor rooms and how you can unlock people's inner child and have them to heal their inner child, and then create special programmings where they can unblock themselves. Okay. I used to be so great, then I met an abusive, violent narcissist, and I lost my confidence. Shirley, can I just tell you something? That's one of the things I learned about protecting my light. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Let me just get these cards out, because that may wrap up, Shirley, about the abusive narcissist in these cards. Okay, and let me just say this. Ooh, you think a demon's? Oh no, Shirley. I'm finna break down this whole demon shit to you too. No, baby, we finna get your mind right on that. Oh no, we finna. Oh no. Oh, let me write that down so I do not forget to talk about that. I cannot wait till next week. I'm gonna be breaking so much fucking myths for y'all next week. So much myths, okay? So much myths for y'all next week, okay? So much myths. All right, so, Shirley, in particular for you, I keep calling you Shirley, right? And you remind me of my Aunt Shirley. But I know it's Cheryl. I'm so sorry. I keep calling you the Mont destroyed. No, he didn't. Cause we finna fix that. Oh no, you're not giving nobody no power to destroy your healing. Remember, your words are spells. Mont just sent you on a journey for you to remember who the fuck you are. That's all. See, sometimes you don't know you the light until somebody snatches your light from you, right? Then you got to go take your light back, right? Then you got to go take your light back, okay? All right, so here we go. And this is what's going on, Cheryl, okay? It's Shirley. All right. What's going on is you now have an opportunity for you to transmute this energy. This is where miracles coming in. Like I said, the 33 number means Kundalini awakening, and Kundalini awakening can only start to happen when you begin to take accountability for your own healing and being your own savior. Okay, this energy is rooted in the base of your spine. All right, now, if you have any type of back issues, any type of lower pressure in your back, especially I want to say groin area, pelvic area, very tight, you need to work on root chakra energy, because that is where the energy begins to flow from. But if you have energy trapped there, it's going to be painful. And usually when you have a lot of energy trapped in your root chakra, there's some family issues. You can find maybe doubt there. You can find fight or flight mode. Okay. You can find family issues that's unresolved there. You can find money issues that's unresolved there. Okay. So if you have any issues really that has to do with your stability, okay, they're telling you that you're going to have to get in a position within yourself. This is not asking you to go to anybody else, right? It's saying you're going to have to get still within yourself so you can tap into your own inner belief system and inner knowing, right? To know that you're already connected to source, and therefore there is nothing that you don't have access to unless you believe you don't. And the way for you to begin to do this is by self-alchemy, tapping into your ancestors, your guides, right? And that usually means getting quiet. And you know, a lot of people can't spend quiet time with themselves. A lot of people don't like to spend quiet time with themselves, right? Because when you start to spend quiet time with yourself, the head start going, right? And not everybody wants to hear what your inner man or inner woman is saying to you, right? Because it may not necessarily match up with some of the things you're ready to take accountability for, right? Because it's easy to blame other people, right? It's easy to blame other people. And you know, come on now, we've all been there, right? Yesterday I told you guys a story about my ex-husband, right? And let me just go ahead and clear some stuff up. I told y'all about my ex-husband yesterday and about my eye, right? But let me just this is where you begin to take accountability, and this is where transformation comes in, okay? I also told you guys that I had to keep meeting different faces, same experience, because of my own internal loop that I was replaying to myself, which was I was not worthy for love. Okay. And it's not until that I found that loop and changed that loop, okay, that I was able to start attracting different types of relationships. Okay. Now, the problem is a lot of times you think that there's only like one speck of trauma you got to heal. But how could you just have one thing you got to heal when you have a lifetime of disappointments and, you know, maybe setbacks, or a lifetime of, you thinking that you can't do something, or somebody telling you you're not worthy of something, or you setting limitations, or you buying into other people's limitations of yourself, right? So that's not work that's going to happen overnight. It takes time, right? And your spiritual growth, you can't track that by doing a checklist, okay? That's not how it works. The way that you track your spiritual growth, one day you just look up and be like, oh shit, I don't really curse people out as much no more. Oh shit, I don't get triggered like that no more. Oh shit, I actually like spending time with myself. I haven't turned the TV on all day, or the radio, right? That's how this happens. This does not happen by you just, okay, today I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to meditate today for 10 minutes. Okay, I've been meditating for a week now. I should feel something. It doesn't work like that, okay? So you growing spiritually has to do with you being consistent, right, with you. Just like you're consistent with other people, you need to be consistent with you. Okay? So the way you're going to be working through this wisdom, and the way that you're going to be hearing from these ancestors, is by being still. Turn off that TV. Don't pick up the phone and call your girlfriend or whoever, to unpack what just happened to you. How about you unpack it with yourself first? How about you sit and ask yourself, what was the purpose of that phone call? What was the purpose of that thought? What was the purpose of that synchronicity? What was the purpose of that trigger? It's transformation time. And you're not going to find transformation outside of yourself. Transformation is going to require you taking accountability for your own shit. I need to talk about past lives, because you mentioned that, so I want to talk about that and show you how that shows up in your experience. Okay. And I also want to talk about Mark and healing. I'm just making notes here because I want to circle back about that, because that could be helpful to somebody else. And I think I also said I wanted to talk about the demons, so that way you can have some insight of that too, okay? All right. So the energy that you're going to need to use to move through and navigate through this is self-alchemy. What's the purpose of all of this? And be open to transformation, okay? You're going to have to take these rose-colored glasses off. You're going to have to take the rose-colored glasses off. I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now, you're going to have to take those glasses off. Okay, y'all. Let's see. Now we need to see. Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. Oh, okay. All right, Shirley. Shirley, you said that you a Zoom meeting I am going to be doing Zoom meetings, Shirley. I am going to be doing Zoom meetings. I think I've just been back for like a month, okay? I used to do Zoom meetings before I went into hermit mode, but I've only been back for a month, and I wanted to go ahead and get my feet back in the door and get grounded again before I started doing any Zoom calls or classes, okay? But I am going to be doing some Zoom calls because I would love to meet you guys and put a face to the names, okay? So I would love to be doing Zoom calls. I'm going to be doing Zoom calls, not love to. I will be doing Zoom calls. Okay. All right. So this is how you're going to be navigating this message, okay? This energy. You're going to have to be open for the unexpected, okay? Because, and we had this energy showing up the other day too. I don't know if it was yesterday, where it talked about karma, balance, and justice. And I went through all of these things for you, right? I told you that karma has to do with cause and effect. Right? Balance can only come from within, and the universe does not do blind justice. So no matter what you're coming up against, or no matter what you may feel the tower moment is, or no matter what you feel the change may be, right? The universe don't do blind justice. Balance can only be found within you. So once you balance your internal being, you'll see balance externally, right? Karma has to do with cause and effects. You got to pay attention to your habits. Okay, you gotta pay attention to your thoughts, you gotta pay attention to your emotions, and you gotta pay attention to your actions, because all of those are linked to what we would consider to be karma. But here's let me tell you something right here, because here is where you can get caught up in the karma and the good or bad shit. Okay. The universe is the one that quote unquote creates energy, period. Okay, so energy is fucking neutral. Energy is neutral. Okay. Energy does not know good or bad. Energy has a polarity, okay? Just like even if we think about light and darkness, right? Light and darkness is two sides of the same coin, right? Two sides of the same coin. One side of the coin, you have darkness. One side of the coin, you have light. But you cannot have light without darkness, and you cannot have darkness without light. Let me give you another example, right? One coin, up and down. You cannot have up without down, and you cannot have down without up. Okay, let me give you another thing. Night and day, right? You cannot have night without day, and you cannot have day without night. Energy in this realm is always going to have a duality. We live in the realm of dualities. Your job while you're in this realm is to bring it into one unity consciousness, and that happens from within, right? So unity consciousness from within is balancing your masculine energy, which is your thoughts, your mind, yeah, because everything is mental, okay? The universe is mental, all right? And emotions, which is your feminine energy, the feminine part of you, your intuitive creative part. I am going to be repeating these until I'm no longer in any of these fucking platforms, because in this era you need to understand how this works, or else you will be controlled and told how to feel, what to do, and how to think, and then you're going to be wondering why your life is not feeling fulfilled and happy. Or why happiness comes maybe every couple of years. Not really realizing that you can live in happiness every fucking day, y'all. I spent the day singing love songs to myself. Well, not singing, but I was up in here jamming, y'all. I was up in here jamming. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that song by Miguel Adorn. Man, I had that shit on replay all afternoon today while I was doing my hair. And let me just tell y'all something, okay? Okay, I'm just feeling myself right now. I'm just feeling myself right now. Okay? I'm just saying. You want to have a healthy and happy relationship? I'm sorry. Let me just tell you right now. Turn off the fucking Tyler Perry's that's telling you that relationships is shit. Hop your ass on over the fucking Hallmark channel where they believe in love, and you watch those movies. Turn up the songs that keep telling you can't believe in love because love don't exist, and you get you some fucking Luther Vandross and you start listening to that shit. Okay? That is how you reprogram yourself. You got to reprogram yourself from the inside. Okay? So, for example, if you got a court date coming up, stop watching court TV where people going to jail all the time or where people got to pay hefty fines. No. There has to be accountability and responsibility in this spiritual walk for what you put into your temple, your church. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going too fast. Let me go back some. Any of your great books or any of your religious structures foundationally, okay, on the message is going to let you know that your temple or your church, if you are studying to show thyself approved, is you. You are the temple and you are the church. Okay, I don't got my books downstairs right now, but I can show that to y'all, but it's written, okay? Exactly. Exactly. Uh-oh, sorry, I deleted your message. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. I meant to hit accept. I don't know what I did. I meant to, because once you put sexy in the comment, it doesn't, Vila, could you go ahead and type that again? Because I deleted that by mistake, my love. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, if you want a good relationship, you cannot go binging the housewives of anything or love and hip hop of anything for a weekend thinking that you tapping into love. That's not how that shit work. Thank you. Okay, sure. All right, there you go. Yeah, you gotta turn off the back. I'm fighting to put you all on some game. Boom. Okay, I'm putting y'all on some game. All right. Y'all think I'm playing. Remember how I told y'all the other day that your words carry energy? I hope none of you ladies out here calling yourself baddies, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. Although we know what they want you to think baddies mean, okay. Baddies does not mean what the fuck they trying to tell you it means. Your words got a vibration. So even if you using it for this particular meaning, that don't mean that it means what the fuck it means. Okay? Let me tell you what baddie means, y'all. Baddie means criminal, villain, a grifter. Okay, hold up. Let me get y'all some more. Let me get y'all some more. Because y'all, you cannot fucking just label yourself and you don't understand what these fucking shit mean. Baddie is simultaneously linked to being a villain, to being a monster. There's nothing holy or uplifting about that. That's a tone, y'all. And I'm not saying that you can't call yourself a baddie. Go ahead, freely do what you want to do. I'm just giving you some insight on when you call yourself a baddie, that is a tone, my love. That is a resonance, my love. Let me just, okay, y'all think I'm making this shit up. Hold on. Y'all think I'm making this shit? Look at the similar words to baddie. Villain, brute, monster, devil, criminal, offender, savage, beast, assassin, rogue, scoundrel, bandit, thug, gangster, wretch, rascal. Do I need to say more? Do I need to say more? Predator, wrongdoer. It is not the time for you to get caught up in trends. It's the time for you to be an independent fucking thinker and watch what you're putting into your body. Yes, you're labeling yourself and you're putting yourself into these clone energy boxes. Okay, all right. Okay, let me go ahead and give this to y'all. Another thing that you're going to be seeing in this quasi era is what they explain to me as cloned energy, okay? What they explain to me, cloned energy is not just about someone taking DNA and cloning it. Cloned energy has to do with you putting yourself in groups and in culture systems, right? Resonating on a particular tone or frequency, right? Because if you think about it, when you call yourself a baddie, don't that come with a type of energy, right? Even calling yourself a baddie comes with a type of energy. It comes with a type of energy. It comes with a type of attitude. It comes with a type of confidence. It's an archetype, y'all. It's an archetype. So I'm not saying don't call yourself a baddie. I'm just saying when you do that, please understand the archetype in which you've now assigned yourself to. That shit matters. Okay? That shit matters. Then you want to know why you stepping through an unexpected storm, but you don't know that you over here calling yourself a fucking criminal. You don't know that you over here calling yourself an evildoer. And you see? Exactly. So does thugs. Exactly. Be mindful what you are labeling yourself. Just like even the word nigger, right? The word nigger was used to make a connotation towards a group of people, but when you research that word nigger, it goes back to the word negas. That word was changed. So the original word for nigger is king, wise, right? It was changed over the years, right? But that was changed. So when you call somebody that, that has a negative connotation, so it's not used, right? Because they do it in the reverse also, right? So if you're thinking it's a very derogatory word, you don't want to call people that word, right? Not knowing that that's linked to king, queen. You don't know that, right? Because they don't teach you that, right? And let me just throw in right here, as you're doing your research, you can also look into this. The English language is the lowest vibrational language that is in existence because it does not touch the top of your tongue. If you take your tongue and you put your tongue in the roof of your mouth and you glide it from the back forward, you're going to feel ridges in your mouth. Okay, that's why you find other languages like Spanish and French and any language except English sounds so beautiful and so fucking sexy because they're activating tonal sounds. The tongue is touching the top of the root, which activates tonal sounds. Okay, tonal sounds. Please know that. Unexpected storms, when they come through, just know that what's your cause and effect? What did you do, right? Or did you do anything to cause this particular effect? Because balance has to come from within, right? No, the universe don't do justice. The same input in which you give something is the same output that you're going to get back from that. So it is like keep that same energy vibe going on. Thoughts in isolation. What you paying attention to, man? I told y'all you can't be out here just listening to, my sons and they're used to it now. I was very big on pay attention to what you say, Your words have energy, your words have energy. Don't joke like that, even if it's a joke. And I remember years ago, my son was joking to one of his friends that he was sick, And I remember telling him, you don't want to claim, that you're sick. And a few days later, he got a cold. And it wasn't until he got the cold and I was, and I pointed him back to like a day or two ago where you said that you were sick. I said, do you see how you manifested that? Even when you're sick, you shouldn't say you're sick. That's why I kept telling y'all I'm working through my sinuses. That's why I phrased it like that. I'm working through my sinuses. Know that everything in your thoughts is going to be grounded in the earth energy. Taurus represents stability in your money. Virgo represents your health and your well-being. Capricorn represents how useful all of that is going to be. Capricorn also represents the ambition in which you're going to have to go after these things to be grounded. Which means, my love, you're going to have to do the work. That's what that means. You're going to have to do the work. Okay. Let me go over in the chat because I do want to answer some of these things that, okay. Let me scroll up. Okay, Shirley, I am going to talk about some things that you said in the chat. My grandpa would say, if you're mad, who are you? You know what my dad used to say, guys? My dad used to say to me, if someone has a problem with you, That's their problem. Why do you want to make someone else's their problem with you your problem? He would tell me that all the time because I would come and speak to my dad about certain things, and he would say to me, "Well, why do you want to make that your problem? If that person has a problem with you, that's their problem. That's not your problem. So why are you taking on somebody's problem?" So your grandpa had wisdom, yeah. Okay. Oh, I love that song by Monica. I got love all over me. Okay, so I want to touch on two things here. Okay, um, listening to some rap earlier and started getting irritated. See, V, V. I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, um, when you're healing, it's very important. They got some good rap out here, some good conscious rap out here now, right? But when you're healing, right, that's an indication. When you start to get irritated, that's an indication that you've raised your vibration, okay? Because remember, music is sound, and sound is the first or the fastest thing, okay, in this universe. It's not light, it's sound, okay? So that, yeah, you're healing or you're raising your vibration. So I can definitely understand why your spirit is feeling irritated, okay? Let me listen. There's some conscious songs out there. Um, do you know Iniko? Let me type her name is. You might like this. And then I think like once you get to her, maybe you can. Once you get to her, you can probably YouTube is how YouTube does, right? Yes. Okay. Oh, I love her. Okay. And then there's another one. What is his fucking name? Toby? Is it Toby? Is it Toby something? Hold on. Toby. Yep. This dude is fucking awesome. I'm gonna spell his name for y'all. Go look him up. I'm typing his name in here. I think it's Toby Google. Y'all know I got this man's name up, so I apologize because it definitely sounds like an African name, and I do not want to mess his name up, so I am going to go ahead and put it in the chat. And it's not Tone. You see how it just auto corrects everything? It's Toby. It's not Tone. Okay, it's spelled like this. This is his, I'm putting it again in the chat, y'all. He is dope. Okay? He is dope. Check him out. There's some others. I just don't have it at the top of my list, okay? And I'm live now, so I can't even go into the playlist because the playlist is on the phone that I'm actually live in. Oh, Kim said there are a lot of artists on TikTok. Okay. Purposely, it has. Okay. Oh, Willow Smith got some nice stuff out too. Not surprised. Okay, so let me break something down for you. Okay, Shirley, I want to go back to something you said because I want to clarify this for you. I will say this though, depending on what I got going on energetically, I might play some song, If I'm with somebody, I might play some Beyonce, I might play some sexy stuff. Not Sexy Red though. Sexy Red is in a whole nother. She doesn't understand sex is sacred. But there are people out there in which Sexy Red vibrates off of. Okay, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, I found what you said. Shirley, I found it, I found it, I found it. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is when you mention that you lost your confidence after being in a narcissistic relationship. First of all, I'm just to let you know that's normal, okay? Whenever you've been in a narcissistic or toxic or vampiric relationship, once you exit the relationship, you're going to find that you don't really know yourself as much as you did going into the relationship. You're going to find that you feel lost, that you feel I want to say insecure, right? And there's a lot of self-doubt, okay? Once leaving a relationship, dealing with toxic people, narcissistic people, or vampire, energetic vampire people, okay? But here's a beautiful thing, though, Shirley, right? The beautiful thing is, once you get out of the relationship, you have an opportunity to really love and see yourself, okay? Because a narcissist really is pulling from you, right, which you're not giving to yourself, okay? So narcissistic people are going to come in, they see your light, they see that you're empathic, they see that you're kind, they see that you're a giver, they see that you're a nurturer, okay? So whatever it is that you were feeding to that person and they were pulling from, it is because you were not giving it to yourself, okay? So if you were very supportive to this person, Shirley, if you were very kind and loving and giving to this person, all of those things that you gave in that relationship, you now need to give them to yourself, okay? That's important. That's number one, okay? You also, I would say, when anybody comes out of a narcissistic relationship, it's very important for you to take the time to heal. Take the time to heal. Take the time for you to remember that you're a fucking awesome, amazing person, okay? There's nobody around here walking in the face of this earth that have not made a mistake or done some dumb shit or said some dumb shit. That does not eliminate people from, being assholes or being narcissists. No, it doesn't. But what it does is it gives you the space where you no longer have to carry that energy. Okay? So your confidence can be regained. That's one of the reasons you found us, okay? It's because your confidence can be regained and your soul is calling for you to step into your true, authentic self, okay? Okay. So, even learning crystalline healing, you're not here by mistake. I just spoke about that a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to get into that next week. Next week, we are starting our 12-strand DNA crystal grid, Sophianic grid, activation journey, okay, because it is a journey. There's levels to this shit, right? They only taught us about 7 chakras, but there's 12 chakras that you need to interact with, which activates your 12-strand DNA, which activates your what they would call junk DNA. There's no such thing as junk DNA, right? You are the only one that has the code to unlock your DNA. No doctors, no psychic, no fucking guru, only you. I can tap into your Akashic field, but I don't have the codes to unlock those things. Only you. Okay? Okay, so I talked about the healing, and then I also want to talk about past lives and demon, okay? Have any of you, because I know my day ones, okay, I don't know if y'all remember, I don't know if y'all remember back in the day when we were watching His Dark Matter, or was it His Dark Material? I don't remember. I think it was His Dark Matter, okay? Let me go look that up. I think it's Dark Material. Dark Material. Dark Material was the name of the show, if I'm not mistaken. Dark Material, right? It had to be a show. Yep. Yep. His Dark Materials show, okay? It's an HBO series, okay? And that show is really talking, that show to me gave the best breakdown of a demon, okay, which are really called divas, okay. So let me break this down to you. Demons are what we call angels, are on the same spectrum. Remember, we're dealing with archetypal energy here, okay? So even when when they talk about the rings of Solomon and how Solomon had the ring and he can control the demons and stuff, the demons are what you would call your shadow sides, okay? The angels are what you would call the light side of you. But I don't even like to say that because not all angels are good. And here's a kicker for you. Here's a kicker for you because you may not know that. Here's a kicker for you, right? Not all demons are bad because they lied to us. They did not tell us exactly where that originates from. Okay? And see, this is why we're going to get into this shit, right? Because it's time for you to fucking awaken your DNA. That's why they want you to think that there's one particular group of energy that's better or bad than the other. No. Demons and angels are the polarities that we have to deal with. Just like we have to deal with good and evil, just like we got to deal with masculine and feminine, right? It's always about balancing the energy, right? So what would we name demonic? We would name demonic, let's say narcissistic energy can be, labeled demonic. Serial killers can be labeled demonic, right? So you have all of these energies that you can go on the demonic, right? But when you start to look at the energy itself, right, it's really the people doing, or the people that's under the energy, right? Because energy has mutuality. It's who's using the energy and how you're using the energy. Demons were meant for you to look into the parts of yourself that you hide. So let me tell y'all, first of all, let me just say this. When I started my journey over 20 years ago, okay, I'm going to give y'all the truth, okay? I did not know I was going to wind up here, y'all. This is not where I did not think that I was going to wind up here. I did not think I would be reading cards. When I started my spiritual journey over 20 years ago, all I wanted to do was to learn and figure out me. My fucking life was falling apart. If there really was a God, I sat in that one-bedroom apartment in the Bronx and I asked. This was my question. This was my honest question, okay? Okay, God. If there's a God, I just don't want to know you, but I want to experience you. And I want to know what love is, right? And please, God, could you please reintroduce me to myself? Help me to remember who I am. That was my prayer. I did not start this journey to get on here and teach shit or share shit. I literally felt like I didn't belong. My life was falling apart. My marriage was falling, and I just wanted to figure my life out. Okay? I even said, because a lot of what I got taught at first was not in, because I left the church young. Even before I was a teenager, I didn't have to go to church. So the foundation was in me, from the young age, maybe up until 12 or something, But I never started this journey to get here. So this is what I'm telling you. If you authentically start your journey to find you, you are going to be guided as to where you need to go. So 20 years ago when I started this journey, it was not about anything outside of learning the truth about who I was. I even went back to church, y'all. I went back to church because I had a girlfriend. Because at that point, I didn't even know I had a gift. I would tell people things and it would happen, And I had a girlfriend that kept on saying to me, oh, you're a prophetess. You're a prophetess. You need to go to church. And she was very religiously indoctrinated at that point. And I just no, I'm not. I don't like church. No, they lie to people. No. I remember I pushed back so hard, okay? And then something I told somebody came to pass. And she said to me, you are a prophetess. You're a prophetess. So I went back to church, y'all. I did. I went back to church. I went back to church under a bishop called Bishop E. Bernard Jordan. And I went to what he had at that time. It was called the School of the Prophets, because I wanted to learn about this gift of prophecy that she said I had. And I went back to church, and it was by Bishop E. Bernard Jordan, and he taught the School of the Prophets. And the first class that I had blew my mind because I knew I wasn't crazy. The first class I had was a lesson that taught me that there is no such thing as a devil. Now, here it is. This is the bishop in the church teaching me this. And all the books that he was recommending to us to read at that point, I had already read a lot of them. I didn't even know church was reading books like this. Okay? So we're going to get into some things that, you got some people out here that's teaching spirituality, or that's teaching the gospel, but you're teaching it from regurgitating information. You're not teaching it from doing the work or studying to show yourself approved. Okay? So, just so you know, Cheryl, okay, if you can watch that show, His Dark Material, it will give you a great analogy of how demons work, okay? Or what the demon energy is. It's your shadow side, okay? So basically, okay, don't get mad at me here, y'all, because this is about taking accountability, right? Because if you see a demon outside of yourself, right, there's no control in that. You can't control that. Let me give you an example, all right? Let me give you an example of how this works. And you can study Carl Jung's work for this. Carl Jung works for this, okay? He's a psychologist years ago that studied the psyche. So if you want more information, if you're doing your work, go study his material and he'll help you to understand a lot of what I'm talking about, okay? Every time someone triggers you, every time someone annoys you, every time you call someone a demon or the devil, guess what? That's an aspect of yourself that's fragmented that needs to come into wholeness. You cannot see in another person what is not in you. Let me say that again. You cannot see in another person what is not in you. This is why you need mastery of self, okay? This is where the compassion comes in, all right? Because this is why you can have someone that's been on crack for 25 years, that's been clean now for 10, that can go in to a situation and help another person that's on drugs for all these years because they see themselves in that person. They can touch that part of that person. Yes, Cheryl, your mirrors. Your mirrors. So, you know how they teach you to rebuke things? I rebuke that. Whatever you fucking rebuke, you pull to yourself. Stop fucking rebuking things. See it in its truth. That's another thing the bishop taught me when I went back. He taught us, and this was over 20 years ago, you meet no one but yourself. And it took me years to know what the fuck he meant by that. It took me years to understand what he meant by you meet no one but yourself because I wasn't ready to give it up yet. What you mean you meet no one but yourself? So you mean this nasty asshole? You mean that creepy guy? You mean that boss that's nasty? You mean that lady that was just treating me like a bitch in the store? You talking about that's me? Pastor. I don't know about that. No. I smiled when I got up in the job today. She just had a nasty ass stink attitude. I was smiling. I done listened to my gospel songs on the way into work. I done read my scripture on the way in. What you mean? What you mean that I meet no one but myself? So let me show you how this works. Okay. I remember I was working at this job called Bank of America. Not Bank of America, Bank of New York. I'm sorry. It was a big private investment bank in New York. And this was my first real job, right? Making money where I was able to move out. Okay? And I'm working at this bank. And I met a coworker. And I'm looking at my coworker. right? And I'm thinking I don't like the way she dressed. I'm a Scorpio, y'all. So, I could be, we can be very intense and intrusive sometimes. And, we don't like to be questioned, but we don't mind asking you questions, right? So the young lady, she wears a wig, and I don't think the wig fits her, right? And she's my skin tone, and, and she wears like 3 shades higher stockings, so they don't match her skin tone. So I felt like I can help her dress. I can help her, do a makeover. This is me, okay? I'm like, 23 at that point, okay? Maybe 21, 22, 21. I don't think I was 23 yet. Well, maybe around 23, right? And this, because y'all don't even understand, this is when I was unrefined and I had a mouth, y'all. I had a mouth, okay? And I was one that stuck up for the underdog. So I had a mouth. And it wasn't always nice and kind because I also, I had a gift so I could see things. So if I was going to cut you with my mouth, it was going to be truthful and hurtful. And, depending on who you was, I didn't have no problem doing that, right? So this young lady invites me to her house to help her, do some decorating things. So as I got my black ass at my girl's house, I proceed to tell her that, you can change your outfit, you can change your clothes, you can change your wigs. And that young lady looked at me and she says, "Oh, no, I love the way I look. I don't compare myself to other women." And I stopped and I paused for a second because remember, I tell y'all, she was wearing wigs that didn't, that just looked like the old grandma on Sunday in church that, that may have had the wig for 15 years. Like, that's what it looked like to me, but I was judging this girl, right? I was judging her because I didn't wear wigs. I had a perm in, so I was judging her. Her stockings was way shade lighter than anything that I would wear, so I was judging her there, right? Her clothes to me looked very grandma-ish, so I was judging her there, right? So when she began to tell me that she don't compare herself to other women because she loved the way she looked, do y'all know that was the best lesson that lady could have given me that day? Because really what I was judging was not her, I was judging myself. Really what I saw in her was things I wanted to change about myself. Okay? And that day she gave me a gift. From that day, I stopped comparing myself to other women. Now, my feelings were hurt. My ego was definitely hurt, y'all, because that girl hurt my feelings when she told me, she loved how she looked, y'all, okay? I felt so embarrassed, y'all, because I just knew I could help her, okay? I just knew I could help her. But I saw something in her that was really a reflection of me, and then I projected it onto her. Not knowing that she was already in love with herself, but I wasn't, right? So here it is, I stepped into her environment, being asked to do one thing, right? She asked me over there to help her decorate, not to help her revamp her wardrobe. And because that was my own insecurity shit that I had going on, I projected that on that lady. And she shut my ass down, okay? She shut my ass down, y'all. Okay, so you meet no one but yourself. So if you see a devil in somebody, if you see a demon in somebody, find the fucking devil or demon in you first. Okay, find it within you first. If you see a hypocrite in somebody, find a hypocrite in you first. That is how this energy is working, because you are no longer trying to find the frequency. You are the frequency. You are the resonance of the tone. Okay, so you need to know that. We do mirror ourselves. Shirley said, "Your ass does not fall out your head after 26." Shirley, can I tell you that some people it should, because by 27, between 27 and 30, you go through your Saturn return. So you go through trying to figure out who you are as a really full-blown adult. But some people bypass that step. So I now live my life, and my inner circle tells me all the time that I give people too many passes. But it's not that I give people too many passes. I understand that it is all a game of duality. And I understand that I just know energy, and I understand that you got to do your work. So I can see how people are set up to not do their work. I can see that. I can see how somebody may want to do something different and heal, but don't know where to begin. I can see, you know, I tell even when I have clients, and I express to clients that you cannot hold someone hostage for what they don't have to give. Because you can see something in somebody, recognize potential, or maybe recognize trauma in somebody and point it out. But until they see that trauma or potential within themselves, it don't matter. And some people never do. But can I tell you something else about that too, Shirley? And this is where you don't take it personal. We're not all going to the same place. First of all, death is not what they taught us death is, because you die and live every day, right? Every day there's a death and there's a birth. Whether it's in your thoughts, whether someone around the world, whether it's in your emotions, whether it's in the actual earth to the ground, right? There's constant death and rebirth happening. There can be no life first without death. And then you say, okay, come on, what the fuck you mean? What you mean it can't be life without death? I'm teaching you the science of how this shit works. Remember, we're in the upside down fucking world. Life don't come first. First, there got to be death. Death comes first. Okay, let me break this down to you. I'll break it down to you two different ways. Okay. First way is the sperm has to die to the egg. Okay. The egg got to die to the sperm. The egg and the sperm both got to die to being a sperm and being an egg. Because once they come together and unify as one, there's no more separation. There's now an embryo. Right? There's now an embryo. So life cannot begin first without the sperm dying to the egg and the egg dying to the sperm. Okay? All right. Let me move it on to nature for you. The seed got to die to the earth. So when you get you an apple seed or even a mustard seed and you put it in the dirt, in the darkness, where it can't see, where it don't get no sunlight, where it got to sit in that embryonic fluid of the earth, right? And you got to water it and you got to nurture it. That seed got to die to the soil. It got to die to the earth before it can take root and bear fruit. Before life can begin in anything, there first got to be a death of something, aka what the fuck we call sacrifice. The question is, what are you dying to right now? That's the question. What are you dying to right now? What in your thoughts do you need to bury? What in your thoughts do you need to mourn and grieve so you can move forward? What are your emotions that you need to mourn and grieve so you can move forward? And mourning and grieving could just be acknowledging that that shit exists. It don't even have to be that, it don't even have to be that you need to do a ritual. It may just be that you need to acknowledge it. Literally by acknowledging it. Let me tell you how change happened. Change does not happen with you first getting up and doing something. That's not going to be lasting change. So, like when you do your New Year's resolution and all of that shit, no. After like a month or two, your whole list just went to hell, right? Change happens first by you recognizing that change is needed. If you can first recognize change is needed and accept that, I promise you the universe will send everything into your vortex to allow that change to happen with ease. With ease. The body does have, okay, yes. So Shirley, one of the things I do with my body and my muscles, right, in my meditation, is I practice muscle memory in my meditation. And I don't know if I'm going to give that class yet because I'm walking through that exercise, but there's a really good book out on these techniques. But it's a really advanced book. I don't think anybody should be playing in that book if you have not mastered your thoughts or your fears. Oh, which leads me to let you know another thing, okay? Um, Fear is gonna have to be conquered in this energy. Hey Slay, how are you? Fear is gonna have to be conquered in this energy, okay? Kamoy, how do we conquer fear? By acknowledging that you got fear and then walking through the fear. I'm conquering fear right now. I'm a fucking introvert. Let me tell y'all something, what I would be doing right now if I was not on live. I would be upstairs with my notebooks, okay? Probably watching a video where I can, I don't know, something about quantum physics, something about, okay, because my new thing right now is I'm not watching drama and shit. I'm doing comedies because I need to laugh. I don't need to think too much, right? But I will be spending time with myself, dating myself. I'm an introvert. I'm funny as hell because I like people, but I don't necessarily like large crowds. So you guys don't know, even getting on here, okay, y'all send some love to Slay, y'all. Even getting on here, y'all, is me facing my fears. I got triple ones in my chart, right? When you have triple ones in your chart in your birthday, that means you are a talker. You love to talk, right? So I like to talk, and it comes naturally and easy to me, but this for the people that are in my inner circle, right? So me facing my fears, every day I hit the fucking live button, I'm facing my fears. Every day I hit the live button, I'm facing my fears. Every day I sit down and map out one of these classes I'm bringing to you guys, I'm facing my fears. You see, because the safe part for me is behind the scenes when I get to deal with one-on-one clients, right? That's safe for me because that, it's not a lot, it's one-on-one. And I love that feedback. I love doing one-on-one. I love tapping into people and having that light bulb moment, aha, where they see themselves. But getting on here, I've had to face my fear, guys. And not only have I had to face my fear, I've had to face my insecurity. Okay? I've had to face some insecurities. When I launched this platform in 2018, I had to work through some insecurities because I was supposed to launch it in maybe February of 2018. I didn't launch it until September of 2018 because everything needed to be perfect. I needed a perfect background that I was comfortable with. I needed to have a perfect this. So I procrastinated because of fear for months, just because I didn't have the right background. Okay, for months. Just to have the right background. And then, okay, so I faced that, right? So in the space of from September 2018 to I want to say maybe June of 2021, by facing my fear, I had uploaded over 1,000 videos. Over 1,000 videos from 2018 to about 2020 because I faced the fear. Face a lot of people. The pressure is real. It is. And then, so y'all want to hear something interesting also, right? I told y'all I was an introvert. Do you know this introvert? I used to do shows when I was in my 20s. I'm a spoken word artist. Very good at it, y'all. I'm really good at it. And I used to have at least 3 shows a week, right? And I had a system because I knew that I was not big on crowds, right? I would show up for my set, right? Mingle before my set, and as soon as I finished my set, I treated it like a job. It wasn't something like, oh, I'm going to hang out and meet all of these cool people. No, I would go do my set, right? And once I'm done with my set, I would bounce. But I don't want to do that no more. I want to be able to enjoy life and enjoy people, and meet aspects of myself, with beautiful energy, because I've met enough aspects of myself with not so much beautiful energy, right? So I had to face that fear too. So I'm facing fears, doing new things now, stepping out of my comfort zone even now. Okay, tomorrow we having a face-to-face live though, y'all, because I need to come through with my notes. So tomorrow you will be seeing my face. Okay. I know I haven't done a face-to-face with you guys in a long time, but we're gonna do a face-to-face tomorrow. Okay. There's something else I wanted to say. Okay, this chat is going a little fast. Yeah. And let me just say, okay, I want y'all to love on each other in this chat too. Support each other in the chat. I want you guys to love on each other because that's what we're here for. We're here to help each of us remember, okay? All right, so welcome. And guys, if you could go ahead and put a thumbs up on the video for me if you have not done so yet, that would be awesome. This is all in my psychology, my mom, because, oh, you're, okay, first of all, can I just say, Cheryl, I think you need to be doing something, the tantra arts, and even if your ministry, because I was about to say, yeah, your ministry is linked to sex, okay? But I want to say this though, Shirley, okay? Not just sex intercourse, but sex energy, because sex energy doesn't just create babies. It's an energy. Remember I told you it was linked to 6. Sex is linked to 6, the number 6, okay? S-I-X, okay? And 6, when you're doing numerology, is the number of creative will, okay? The power of your will to either create or destroy. Okay, yeah. See, sensuality, there you go. And sensuality is sacred, so you may want to start tapping into that because all of your experiences were not by coincidence. They're all taking you somewhere. Hey, Miss T, how are you, beautiful soul? And because Shirley, because I see you helping people who may have been molested or had their innocence snatched away from them. Okay. I see you helping people, especially helping them to heal from within their any sexual traumas. Okay. So that's why Reiki and all of these things that you've already, because that's needed to help them to restore their grid. Okay. Hey NY, how you doing? Thanks for coming through. Can you guys tell me where you're located? I would love to know that. I know Shirley's in the UK. If you guys can just let me know where you're located. Okay, so Shirley, just so you know, sit with that in meditation, Shirley, okay? You have a business in you, especially with sensuality and sex. And remember 6, it's linked to 6, okay? That creative willpower to help people out of their trauma, okay? Okay. Shorty says she's in England in the South. Okay. We need your cliff notes on facing your fears. Slay, we go through that every day. I use myself as an example, Slay, okay? Because I think if you're out here helping people through their spiritual walk, people need to know that you go through shit too. Okay? The way for you to get to the other side is to go through it. Not around it, to go through it. Or you tell it to move, because you have the power to tell something to move, and it will, right? But the only way that that can happen is if you know who you are. And this is why I am back. Okay, let me go ahead and just give the preset right now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give my disclaimer again because I see a lot of new people in the track. Okay, so you guys need to know, first of all, my disclaimer is this. These messages are not for everyone. All right. If you are not going to be doing your own internal work, then none of this is going to resonate with you, okay? We have now stepped into the Quasi era, okay? This is an era of quantum. Everything is happening quantumly, okay? From science to math to medicine to spirituality, all right? It's no longer about finding a vibration or a frequency. It's about becoming that resonance in which you seek, okay? You are the vibration in which you seek, all right? The next thing that you need to know is that access is going to be granted to you based on what your inner belief system or your inner knowing is, okay? So if you have limited beliefs, you're only going to get access based on your limited belief, all right? If your inner knowing does not know that you have the power to move mountains, then you will not be able to access that inner power, okay? Or your inner gnosis, all right? Okay, that's what I'm here to help you with, all right? Energy is fluid. I can say that this is your energy, but it feels more like the energy that you're interacting with. You want to go ahead and place the energy where it fits, okay? Now, if we talk about something you don't understand it, do not throw it out. You might want to shelf it in case you need to circle on back, okay? Keep what you need, shelf what you don't understand, and leave what you do not, all right? Now, this is the most important thing if you don't get anything else I say. I am not your guru. I am not your savior. The only person that can save you is you. You are your own guru. Well, Kamoy, how do I save myself? You save yourself by finding yourself. And you find yourself by spending time with yourself and owning your shit. Okay? Owning your shit. It's okay to say that you get angry. It's okay to say that you get sad. It's okay to say that when you did that helped, you felt ashamed. When you did that, you felt guilty. It's okay to say, you know what? I didn't handle that properly because of my own insecurities. It's okay to own those things. You know what happens when you own those things, though? You find the beautiful parts of you. You find that there's no need to be insecure because the parts of you that you were running from where the insecurity dwelled was only because that there were parts of you that you were not accepting. There was only parts of you that you were not loving. Anybody that comes into your experience, your environment, your life, right, is a reflection of you. They're going to reflect back to you something that you need to heal, something that you need to love, something that you need to embrace, something you need to forgive, something you need to be thankful for because maybe you're no longer there. But the minute you start judging is the minute that you open up yourself for the same energy or archetype with a different face. So any of your close relationships, pay attention to those because they show you a lot of things about yourself. They show you a lot of things about yourself. Yep. Mm-hmm. Be like, you right. You only got to go through it. I used to work in the Love Boutique, and my boss was a sex therapist. And okay, first of all, Cheryl, yeah, we need to talk on a Zoom call because you got so much. Man, listen. Do you really, have you put two and two together like you got such an extensive background around the same topic? Have you tapped into that's what your healing modality is? I don't know if you tapped into that yet. We talked yesterday about the sacred horse. Remember we talked about that? Slay said, I do the same when I have to speak in crowd. Okay, we did talk about that. We need your cliff notes. Okay, I read that already. I had to give a demonstration of toys in a lingerie shop. That alone will give you some freaking confidence, Shirley. That alone will give you confidence. And that alone, just so you know, the fact that you're able to even do that, I'm telling you, you can help a lot of people get past their trauma experience as children. Because let me tell you something that happened, and I think I told you guys this yesterday. Being molested at a young age, when I got married, there were points in my marriage that trauma came back, and I had to work through it. You cannot fully experience sex and intimacy on a whole level if that's a part of me that was still broken. And I wasn't able to really connect because there would be times when we argued and then, if he want to have sex, I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I'm in my head. Does this really mean love or he just trying to get it? And now I'm married now, y'all. I'm married now. Okay, so I'm giving you real talk to let you know, like, not because I'm here and I've healed from those things mean that it wasn't difficult. I didn't have to go through shit. And I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Usually, those of us that are here to help tremendous amount of people usually do not have the best beginning stories. We usually have a lot of pain and trauma to work through so we can help other people. So, I'm here to confirm if you've had some shit in your childhood and adulthood that, you can write a book, or or you can say to people, I can't make this shit up type shit. You probably are here to help people. I'm just saying. And especially if you found my channel, because I attract empaths and I attract people that's ready to do their work, okay? The frequency that I'm sending out is the frequency to help people to get into resonance with their true tone, okay? It's not about being perfect. It's about owning all of you. So let me tell you how this works, right? As I operate on a certain archetypes within my zodiac sign and certain parameters within my numerology, I'm able to learn certain things about myself, right? So I have some couple placement with Scorpios. Scorpio energy can be very rigid, it can be very fixed, and it can be very controlling. And if you don't do the work, it's going to display in different places. So one of the ways that it tends to display is control. I like to be in control. I don't like to do anything where I don't feel like I'm in control. The moment I feel like I'm out of control is a moment probably where dark aspects of me is going to come into play. Okay? So let me show you how that plays out in real time, how you can begin to see yourself. Okay? So it will come out with me, okay, like the dishes got to go here. No, 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 no. You can't put it in the dishwasher that way. No, 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 no. You can't put that plate there. No, 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 no. I want this color here. No, 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 no. That's not the way you fold a towel. That's not, So for me, it would be trying to control little things around me or in the house, with my kids or with my business, that I feel like I have control of, because there are aspects in me where I may feel out of control, right? There may be big things going on that I feel like I don't have control over. So when I began to do the work and I realized that, okay, I tend to have a controlling nature. And that's a part of my shadow side that may pop up when I'm in fear, right? So if I find I'm in a situation, in particular with my kids, and they look at me a certain way, I'll just say to them, I'm doing that controlling thing again, aren't I? And they'll just look at me and smile and say, yeah, Mom. Even with Kelly Kells, I'd be like, I'm being controlling, am I? She'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, that's controlling, ain't it, girl? I know I just said that. Was that controlling, girl? She'd be like, yeah, girl, that was controlling. Right? I see. I am able to see. So that way, nobody can hold me hostage. Or I don't have to hold anybody else hostage, right? Because I can see in real time when I'm doing some controlling shit that don't benefit anybody, right? Because don't nobody want to be controlled. Don't nobody want to be controlled. Wait, who said that in okay, I missed something in the chat. Oh, downtown Dallas. Okay, Slay's in downtown Dallas. Okay. Okay, Miss T's in Texas too. My girl Kelly is in Texas. Okay. North Carolina. NY is in North Carolina. NY, I am in Georgia. Okay. Shirley is in England. Detroit in the house. Can I just say this also, guys? Don't beat up on yourself so much. But man, listen. Laugh at yourself. When you take ownership of your stuff, nobody can keep you in guilt. Nobody can keep you in shame. Nobody can keep you in insecurity. And then you walk into a room, and when somebody's trying to project their shit on you, you can say, no, that's not my shit, that's yours. With confidence. Do you know how much times I've had to tell that to people? No, that's not my shit, that's yours. Controlling, yeah. Yeah, I'm controlling. That I got. Messy and nasty? No, that ain't me, baby. That's you. No. You created that, not me. You. So please don't project. You see, because when you know yourself, can't nobody project their shit on you. Can't nobody project their shit on you. Nobody can project anything on you when you know who you are. Okay, I like what Shirley said. If you can't laugh at yourself, you're not an adult. Shit, then a lot of people walking around here, Shirley, ain't adults because you got some grown ass people that can't laugh at themselves at all. They take everything so seriously. Yeah, I don't know. I was up here. I'm telling you, I was up in that bathroom upstairs today, twisting my hair, y'all. I had my love music on. My spirit was just singing to myself, y'all. And I was in there, and and I was definitely I was a dancer. Whoever I was Beyonce in the mirror. Who else? Kelly Rowland. Whoever could dance. I became whoever could dance. I became that chick that could dance in the videos. Okay. And don't play with me now, y'all, because I got my pull-up bar that was on my door. Girl, I held on to that pull-up door and I was doing my side, like how they do the side winds. Okay, looking at myself, feeling myself, doing my hair, singing to myself, loving on myself. Start loving yourself before somebody else have to tell you they love you, and then because they disappoint you, you think that love is not part of your experience anymore. No, fuck that shit. Once you love yourself wholeheartedly and fully, nobody can keep you hostage, and then you begin to understand unconditional love has nothing to do with somebody being perfect. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody being perfect. Unconditional love is to recognize that everybody on the face of this earth has something they're working through, and knowing that you have the power to allow everyone to have their experience, which means that you can set your fucking boundaries and they don't have to cross them. Why do you think the tides have a boundary? Why do you think there's a boundary at the ocean? If there was no boundary at the ocean would take over everything. So boundaries are for everybody's safety. Okay, so yeah. Man, listen, Cheryl, you do too much comedy right now, except for a lot of the older people, but they have this cancel culture out here. And let me just say this, can't nobody cancel you. Can't nobody cancel you. When you are walking in resonance of what you're supposed to be doing, even the fucking internet can't stop you. Because no matter if you're in resonance, synchronicity is universal law. Period. When you are in resonance of that in which you seek, universal law is it has to be given to you. This is why you can find people that are not so talented and can't sing, that got $1 million deals, right? Because they became in resonance in what that they seeked. The universe does not go based on, okay, you're qualified and you're not. No, it goes based on resonance. Oh, you think you could have that? Okay, sure. Here you go. Oh, you don't want that? Okay, let me go ahead and take that back from you. Oh, you don't think that's good? Okay, let me give you some more shit that's not good. Because clearly you like not good. Okay, not literally, but yeah. You talking about Mr. Rogers from This a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood? Is that what you're talking about when you say Mr. Rogers, Shirley? Okay, so let me also put you up on some wisdom here. Anything that you're taught is evil or that you shouldn't do, you need to really go research that. We're in the upside down world. Things that you're usually told is evil, especially from the spiritual aspect, is because that's where your power lies, and they do not want you to uncover your power. I told y'all it's not until I went back to church that I learned from the bishop, okay, of this organization that there is no such thing as a devil. The devil lives within you. Okay? That Mr. Rogers, yeah. You know why? Because Mr. Rogers, he vibrated at some type of internal moral compass, but you got to get rid of the things where people can still register on an internal moral compass. He was a minister. Okay. I didn't know he was a minister. Let me see if I can find this book. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna pull the book out for y'all that y'all need to get. Okay, I can't. It's not downstairs, and I just moved, and I don't know if it's still packed up somewhere. But it's called Mind Control 101. Okay, and I don't remember the author. Okay, it's called Mind Control 101. All right, and in Mind Control 101, they let you know of all the paradigms that's being used, even in society for mind control. Okay. Love and hip hop, mind control. That controls fucking up people's relationships. Okay. What's another one? Housewives, mind control, because that lets you know that, grown women, we can't go out and have dinner and have fun with the girls, right? We got to throw drinks all over and have fucking fights. Okay. That shit just, I don't understand that. I don't understand how, as grown women, we can't sit and have an adult conversation without throwing drinks in each other and coming to blows, okay? Just so you know, that's mind control. Okay, let me show y'all back. I'm going to take y'all back too, right? Do you guys know, okay, a lot of you may not know this. I am a trained audio engineer by profession. I went to school to be a audio sound engineer, okay? And one of the things that they teach you in sound engineering school is how music works, how sound works, okay? And one of the things that I discovered by going to school to learn how to become a professional sound engineer was how music controls people, okay? So there is certain music, there's certain way music is mixed, there's certain sounds that's used in music to keep you stuck. Okay, right? For example, anything I want to say in like the hip hop culture, right? The 808s, the bass, the boom, 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 boom. That controls your root chakra, your sexual organs. All that's down, that's in the lower chakras, okay? So any of the boom, boom, shake it, shake what your mama gave ya. Drop it, drop it, drop it. Anything with the boom and the bass, drop it, drop it, drop it, shake it, okay? Root chakra, okay? So that's energy that you're gonna take and put into a club, right? You're going to take that energy, you're going to put it into a club. So now everybody that go to that club, you're not even paying attention to maybe the lyrics where it's saying, you a bitch, you a hoe, you a bitch, you a hoe. You're not paying to those lyrics, right? What you're paying attention to is the boom, 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 drop it, drop it, drop it, boom, boom. Because sound has energy, right? So they're still tapping you into a realm, but that realm is distorted, right? Because one of the ways that you enter into a spiritual realm is through drums, is through that bass, right? But if you're going in distorted, you're going in and that energy now becomes not spiritual energy, right? Where you're using it to balance and control your root chakra. It now becomes sexual energy where it's being used differently. Okay. And each chakra in your body corresponds to a fucking musical note, y'all. So here it is, I'm in school I'm like, what? They don't. Okay, let me give you another example, okay? There's different classes of music that's set up to trap you, okay? If you are not listening to what they call complex music, okay? Now, complex music will be like Beethoven and that type of stuff, right? from back in the days, okay? Currently, complex music will be Adele, okay? I don't really listen to a lot of people, but Adele, everybody should know Adele, okay? So complex music will be Adele, okay? Or anybody that can get all of your fucking chakras activated, right? So when you listen to Adele, Adele has this way of hitting notes that can send your body in shivering mode. She can activate things within you. That's called complex music. And complex music is really what you're supposed to be creating with notes, right? But the industry, right, does not push out complex music as norm because a lot of the artists don't really, they're not taught that. And a lot of artists don't go to school to learn music theory, right? A lot of artists are not out here in the spiritual shit, so you're not really, you're not making the connections. You're just making the music. And then another thing too, because I worked in that industry, you know. Okay, right. I'm probably about to say something, and sorry about NDAs and stuff, but I'm just gonna say this without going past the NDA specification, right? I used to have kids that would come in to sign contracts with this particular company that I work for, and I would say to these kids, you need to take this to a lawyer and sign and have them prove. Don't sign. Don't put your. Are you sure you want to put your name on this? You sure you want to sign this? Because what happens to is now you get put on a contract, but now you don't have any more creative freedom. Now you gotta write to the lyrics or sing the songs that are given to you, right? Because that's another way of being controlled too. If I see that you have a voice and a powerful voice, but I got somebody else about to drop, right, that you can outshine, I'm gonna offer you a record deal. And then once you sign the deal, now I could put your album on the shelf while I make money off of this new artist that you would have fucked my money up. So much shit, y'all. Just so much shit. So much shit. The way out is in. Okay? The way out of all of this is you got to go within. The music you listen to, it matters. The shows you watch, it matters. One of the things that I tell to my client, and I have this one client, and every time I have a session with him, I laugh because he said to me, I didn't watch the news last night. I didn't fall asleep with the news on, right? So I tell my clients that you are not allowed to go to bed with the news on. You're not allowed to go to bed with the news on. The news programs fear. So as you're watching the news, your cortisol levels are rising. You are not allowed to go to bed with the news on. Now, you can if you want to, but if you're paying me and you really want to get to the other side of this, I am going to give you a homework assignment, and you are not allowed to watch the news. Don't go to bed with the news on. So he'll get on the call and he'll be like, I didn't fall asleep with the news on last night. I didn't fall asleep with the news on last night. Very proud of himself because he's been not falling asleep with the news on. Right? 21 days of comedy is what my Reiki. Yeah. Yeah. You watch your Reiki tea. And Shirley, did you notice when you went through your Reiki that shit everything went to shits? Like after you finish your class? Did that happen to you too? Did your life just get turned upside down after your Reiki classes? I tell anybody, if you're going to study Reiki, just be prepared for some shit to change in your life, because shit that should not be is going to get gone. Okay, shit is going to fall apart. Emotions that you've been keeping, she said a hurricane, like a hurricane, okay? I'm telling you right now, that shit is real. If you are thinking about going to study Reiki, okay, be prepared, because when you're studying Reiki, you become an energy, you become the way the energy flows through you, right? So your whole system got to get cleared out. Your whole auric field got to get cleared. And once you've accepted responsibility to take on the mantle of being used to heal with energy, man, your whole shit get turned upside down. You can't hide from yourself at that point. You cannot hide from yourself at that point. So I would say to you, okay, because I know some people do it at different levels, okay? Like I think there was 3 classes for me before you could get to master level, right? I wish somebody had told me not to take them so close back to back, because I think I took 1 and 2 really close back to back. And not only do your life get turned upside down, there's so much emotional healing that you spend a lot of time purging. Okay? You spend a lot of time purging. A lot of time purging. Okay, so let me see if I missed anything. It felt like, oh, really? Man. And at that point, it don't feel so good. I mean, once you get to the other side of that, Shirley, it feels a lot better. But when you in it, man, and it happens fast, y'all, okay? Like, whoo, that shit happens so fast. Yes, Miss T, I was up in here loving on myself today, feeling myself. Man, listen. Okay, yeah. So, I have some wonderful things coming up for y'all next week. Next week, get your journals, okay? Get your journals. You're going to need journals for next week, okay? Get your journals. At least one journal. You need at least one journal starting next week, okay? Starting next Monday, you're going to show up with your journal. And you're going to show up also with your glass of water next week, okay? We are going to be starting to get into your 12-strand DNA, the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 disciples, okay? Anything connected to 12, we are going to start to unpack that because you need to know that, all right? We're also going to talk about the 5 chakras that they don't teach us about, okay? Another thing that I want to teach you guys about, because Cheryl mentioned something earlier, about the demons, and I think I'm also going to include the 72 angels, the 72 demons, and the 72 names of God. These are all energy archetypes, okay? And the 72 demons and the 72 angels are really just aspects of the 72 names of God. They're the polarity, okay? The 12 apostles are the 12 zodiac signs. The 12 apostles are linked to the 12 zodiac signs, which are 12 aspects of yourself that you should master. So each one of those zodiac signs, each one of those 12 apostles, 12 disciples, they're connected to a part of your psyche, okay? Not all angels are good and not all demons are bad. Just like they want to tell you jinns are evil, not all jinns are evil and not all jinns are bad, okay? I mean good. Jinn energy operates on the energy that you're carrying. They're neutral beings, but if you're a negative person, they're going to feed off your negativity. And if you're a positive being, they will help you in your positive thing, okay? So just know that. Everything is a reflection of ourselves. Yes, this is why you got to master yourself, okay? So definitely we'll tap into anything connected to 12 we're going to begin to tap into, because you need to know that information for activation of the crystalline grid, okay? Whether you call it the Christos grid, okay, or whether you call it the Sophianic grid line, all right? And like I said, the Quasi grid is now overlaying on these grids because it's here to bring in what we call the golden age or the golden era, okay? And I think, I can't remember what Kali Yuga, what comes after Kali. If anybody knows, like in Hinduism, what comes after Kali. Because I think we just exited the Kali. But I don't remember what comes next, okay? But we're in what would be considered the Aquarian age or the golden age. And we did not just get here like a year or two ago. We got into this age when technology kicked out. When did technology kick out? Not even 100 years ago? Okay, whenever computers or anything technical really started to be placed in the businesses, we entered the Aquarian age, okay? You know what, Cheryl, I knew I had something to tell you. Okay, I knew I had something to tell you. You're right, your vibration did find me. I'm going to show you how you can trust that, okay? Let me show you how you can trust that. I sat here with Kelly last week, and I was telling Kelly, after doing some meditation and some shadow work, I said, I now understand where my placement is. I now understand, like I'm like a lighthouse that's just put out here as a beacon of light, and whoever is supposed to find me, they will. And all I got to do is show up. So when I got your email yesterday, and I know I haven't gotten a chance to respond yet, when I got your email yesterday, you talked about the lighthouse and that you found me. That was because that's the intention in which I set out. So yes, you were tapped in, you were tuned in, because that was the exact intention I sent out, was to be a lighthouse, okay? So just so you know, that's to let you know that it's real. The magic is real. Your inner magic is real, okay? So thank you so much for your kind words in that email. I appreciate it. And it was also a confirmation to myself about my own intention in which I move in, all right? That's why I woke up like a you know, so, and guys, just so you know, I'm going to be 50 next year, and I don't have all of the details yet. So I'm going to be 50 next year. My birthday's on Sunday, okay? And I'm probably still gonna do a live. You know, I'm single. These kids are grown. I got what they call it, empty nesters. Like you gotta find my own thing to do. So I'm pretty sure y'all will see me on Sunday. Okay, if you don't see me on Sunday, it's because it's my birthday. Okay, but Sunday is my birthday. I'm gonna be. I'm going to be 49 this year. And next year for my 50th birthday, I would like to put on an event where I can meet you guys in person, okay? I've never given myself anything for my birthday, so this would be the first time I'm actually celebrating my birthday at a bigger scale. It's going to be beautiful. I have all of these wonderful things that I have planned for you. So much beautiful healing, so much love and energy, okay? So, I don't have details yet. Okay, but I'm putting it out there because once I put it out there, I can't go back. Okay, so the more that we plan it and the more that it comes together, I will give you guys an update. But just know, save the date for November of 2026. Okay, because I will be doing a a event meet and greet / 50th birthday celebration. Okay. Oh, thank you, Miss T. Thank you, Miss T. We got a whole year. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, D. Y'all give D some love. Go ahead and give D some love, y'all. D, I appreciate you. Thank you for remembering this time, this appointment that we had today. Thank you for remembering to see yourself, because I am a reflection of you, just like you are a reflection of me. Thank you so much, Miss T. Okay. I want to talk about some important dates. Oh, no, maybe I should I'm not going to do that tonight. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate it. Okay, so as we get closer to 2026, November of 2026, maybe once we flip into the Gregorian calendar year of 2026, I will give you guys more details. Okay, but I'm super, super excited because I have so much fun things planned that I would like to plan for you guys. So I'm super excited about that. Okay. Now, we want to welcome D. We have some newcomers today. We had Slay, we had D in here today. So we just want to thank you guys for coming on in. I am here daily. Okay. I don't have a time, so you want to go ahead and subscribe because I don't have a time, but I do pop on in here daily. And what we are doing right now, D and Slide, what we're doing right now is starting next week, we are going to begin to really dive into activation of our 12-strand DNA, okay? Because that's happening now. And we are connecting all of the spiritual aspects of 12, whether it's the 12 zodiacs, the 12 disciples, okay? The 12 tones. We're going to bring them all full circle so you know exactly how to operate in this energy, okay? Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So you know when your spiritual books tell you that you wrestle not with flesh and blood, you wrestle with principalities and powers in high places that you know not of. They're talking about energy. This is why you can have a relationship and be in a shitty relationship and move on to a next relationship and you have the same energy, a different face. Okay? Same energy, different face. Everything is energy. And when you begin to heal your own energetic field and energetic grid, okay, you then begin to attract people within that new energetic field or energetic grid in which you vibrate on. But remember, we're no longer vibrating, we're resonating. Okay, we're not seeking a vibration anymore, we are becoming that resonance. Okay? Now, like I said, I have some foundational things that we got to go over before we start on Monday. So on Monday, show up with your journal. And you need to show up with your water on Monday. Those things are going to be important, okay? Hydration is important. The reason why water is important is because water is what we're going to be using to access and activate codes, okay? I'm not going to explain all of that tonight, but go do your research on water, okay? So before we kick off Monday, we need to establish some foundations for resonance, okay? Now, seeing what's in your spiritual toolbox, all right? That's also owning your shit. That's also creating your spiritual routine, okay? That's also staying grounded and hydrated. That's also learning to allow sacred things to be sacred, all right? And last but not least, that's doing the fucking work, okay? So we're going to touch bases on all of these things before we kick off on Monday. Surely it does not have to be salt because it's drinking water, but if you want to sprinkle a little salt in there, you can, because that salt is going to, that salt can act as a conduit, okay? But if you want to sprinkle salt in it, you can, okay? It can act as a conduit. So the water that you're bringing is just to charge because we're going to drink it. We'll be charging our drinking water. And I'll explain that whole process starting Monday, okay? I might do it before Monday because Monday we want to kick off into, I need to give you guys some foundation because it will be immature of me to take you into these higher spiritual things without first getting you grounded and established, okay? It would be very immature of me to do so. Because you can't, these are not fucking games. We're literally talking about being able to master energy, okay? And just like the ocean can knock you on your ass, some of these energies can knock you on your ass, okay? Okay, so Shirley just dropped a gem in the chat for y'all. Okay, it adds minerals to the water. Do y'all know that each zodiac sign is responsible for a particular salt? All right, we got so much to learn. I'm gonna give y'all some books that y'all could look up to. I've learned not to drink plain water at a time. Yeah, and you can also use lemon too. And she's right, the salt will definitely help charge the water. You don't have to make it too salty. You can just put a pinch of salt in there too. So you don't have to make it salty. It does not have to be salty. Oh, see, she just, Celtic salt, she said, is better than Himalayan salt. Okay, I'm writing that down. Because I have Himalayan in my thing, which lets me know that I probably got to go pull out that book, Cheryl, because there is a book on all of the missing minerals that each zodiac sign is missing naturally. Okay. You use lemon and cayenne. I use lemon. I don't use cayenne. I use lemon, and I drink sea moss in my tea daily. Okay. I make my own sea moss and then I add it to my tea. Yeah, I make it from scratch. But I go out and I buy the seaweed and then I make it myself. Okay, Miss T says she just added the salt to her water daily. Okay, y'all just put me up on salt. Okay, I was just like, okay. See, This is why we need the community, so we can learn from each other. See, I don't know everything, y'all. I know what I know, but not everything. Aww. We are glad you found us, and we are glad we found you too. Okay? I do not know everything, so thank you guys for dropping that in. Now I'm finna go get me some of that salt. Okay? I am fitting to go get me a little bit of that salt so I can sprinkle it in my water for Monday. Don't play, y'all. Do not play. I'm finna go get me that salt tomorrow, so I can be prepared for Monday. Okay? Oh, you can cook. And you know I love to cook. Every day is school day. That's right. Can I, first of all, let me just tell y'all, just so y'all know, y'all about to go on a wonderful journey. I've been gone for like almost 4 years, guys. But the shit that I've learned in 4 years and I'm finna share with y'all is mastery. It's really mastery. Okay? And I was beating myself up about being gone for so long. Okay, so let me just give y'all real, just transparency here. Before I took a break, I remember Spirit saying to me that I would have to lose some subscribers before I gain subscribers, right? When I started my channel, it was literally only 6 subscribers, okay? And then in the space of a couple of months, I think I went from like 6 subscribers in the space of like a couple of months to like over 5,000 subscribers. When I got to that mark, and I was doing really good, you know, my videos were getting thousands and thousands of views, 20,000 views. And when I got to a point, I was told you got to change the format of how you do these videos. It cannot just be about drama and keeping people stuck in their drama. That is not what I brought you here for. That is not what your mission and your goal is, okay? So I spent years trying to figure out how I was just not going to bring people's, he's cheating, look for this, somebody did a spell on you. Like I didn't want to just tell people the information and keep people stuck, okay? And then when my dad got sick, and I needed to tap out for a little while, I just didn't come back because there was grief. There was so many things going on. And not to mention, I had just burnt myself out in such a short space of time, and putting up so much content in such a short space of time, I literally burnt myself out, okay? And then I also noticed that because I was also asked to change the format in which the channel was going, I did see that my subscribers I started to lose subscribers. My video, once I started to talk about do the inner work, right? So you go from getting 20,000 views on a video, right, to maybe getting 20 views on a video because your whole dynamic of how you changed the flow of your content. I had to change the flow of my content because I was guided to do this by Spirit. I'm not out here doing this because, I told y'all, I'm a fucking introvert, right? So, even coming back, that was one of the things that I wrestled with, right? I wrestled with even coming back, having to start over from scratch, and whether I wanted to do that, right? Whether I wanted to start from scratch. And I got to really thank Kelly Kales, because she would tell me every day, you're my best friend, but I'm a fan. And I feel a little selfish because, there's a lot of people out there that can benefit from the wisdom that you give and all of the love that you give us. And you really need to go back out. You have a community of people already, and I know they miss you because I'm a fan, and you need to go back. And like for years, y'all, she kept telling me that I needed to come back. Okay. It's not until I started to do deeper level of healing, and I had an experience where my past lifetime and lineage was given to me, that I began to really sink into. It's not so much about me saving anybody. It's more about me putting the information out there so other people could help save themselves. Right? Miss T said she looked for me often. Miss T, I wasn't sure if I was coming back. with Miss T, I wasn't sure if I was coming back. I was not sure. And then, I got in that relationship and I did not want for anything, Miss T. Like, my life was good. I was running the business. Like, listen, I wasn't sure if I was coming back. I was doing the work in the background, like the work doesn't stop, but being an introvert and having to deal with my own insecurities, not, always, not always being confident in speaking, in front of people, just all of the shit that you have to go get past to even live and fulfill your true potential, right? Because everybody have a potential. We don't all fulfill our potential, right? So the fact that it's, even if it's one person that I'm able to help. And Miss T, and I don't think I told you this too, Miss T, because when I first came back on, the first day I got back on, I think you were the first day one that jumped on, and having these conversations behind the scenes, and then what you emailed and shared with me, and even what you shared in the chat. Once again, it resonated with what Cheryl said, right? Because that was something that I had asked for. I said, if I could only just help one person a day with my stuff, that would be so amazing. So when you left that comment that video answered your question that you had for years, that was confirmation for me that it was time for me to come back, right? It was time for me to come back. It's all about believing in yourself, y'all. I have so much gifts and talents that when you have a gift or you have a talent, it doesn't make sense for you to keep it hidden. It doesn't make sense for you to keep it hidden. Okay? I lost everything. I was homeless because I didn't. Oh, Cheryl, can I just say something to you? Let me say something to you, honey. Last year, after dealing with a narcissistic situation, I pretty much almost lost everything too. Literally didn't know how I was going to pay bills, how I was going to feed the kids, I literally had to start over from scratch last year. But can I tell you what my lesson was? My lesson was, and the biggest lesson was you never put your happiness or your stability in somebody else's hands, right? So for somebody else to contribute to your stability and contribute to your happiness is just icing on the cake. But nobody should be responsible for making you happy or for your stability, right? And when I say stability, I'm not just talking about finances. I'm also talking about your mental and your emotional stability, okay? That's important. Self-love is what's going to get you through this new energy. Hey Dante, how are you, beautiful? How are you, beautiful soul? So, my loves, how long we been on here? Because y'all know I like to talk, and I can keep going, okay? I don't even know how long we've been on here, but y'all know the deal. I will be back tomorrow. You want to go ahead and subscribe because I do not know what time I'm going to be back, okay? But I will be back here tomorrow. Where are you from, Dante? Are you Caribbean? Where are you from, Dante? Are you Caribbean? And what part of the beautiful world are you from? We done ran through everybody else in the chat. Nashville. Okay, you got a lot of people in Texas. You got Texas. Like, we had 3 people in here from Texas. Nashville. Okay. And I like, and Dante, don't think that I don't see Nashville, Tennessee. Dante, don't think I don't see E-Y-E-I. Dante talking about that middle eye. Dante's talking about that eye between the 2 eyes. Whenever I see people, I'm in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Dante, when I see people do E-Y-E, I know that you are probably talking about your 3rd eye. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, Dante. And Dante, if you were back tomorrow night, okay, you can go ahead and subscribe. If you're back tomorrow night, we're doing a face-to-face tomorrow. So tomorrow you will not be looking at the cards. You will be looking at my face tomorrow when we do our lives, okay? We're kicking off a new transformative experience for all of us starting Monday. So feel free to join us, okay? We have a lot of fun over here, a lot of encouragement, and we debunk a lot of spiritual things, okay? Um, I was bitten by a spider. Girl, first of all, I'm too through with you, Cheryl, because you got so much fucking synchronicity. That's very symbolic. Being bit by a spider is very symbolic, especially on your third eye. Do you even know what the spiders represent? Did you? Shirley, do you even know what the spiders represent? Okay. You say you know. Okay. Okay. Now I'm just asking because you have a lot of you be having a lot of mystical spiritual experiences, and I don't, I just want to make sure you're capturing them all, okay? Because the fact that it bit you on your third eye, that's letting you know right now that you have the power to weave your own life. Yeah, that's letting you know. Uh-huh. And I want to talk about, and you guys have to let me know if you're interested in this too, because one of the things that we can unpack, okay? Oh, okay, Dante, you say you come here all the time? Oh, you come to Atlanta all of the time. Okay, Dante. Do you like it in Atlanta, Dante? I've never been in Nashville or Texas, guys. It was magic when you was a kid. I grew up with magical people. Guys, you need to let me know if you want to talk about, okay, let me know if y'all want to get into the magical things, if y'all want to get into different, well, I can't even say let me know. I gotta be me. We probably gonna wind up down that road, y'all. I'm gonna be honest because I have to be me, okay? I do channel other beings from other galaxies and other realms, okay? I used to think at first when I started getting channels and transmissions, I was crazy until what they would tell me actually would happen. Okay. I also have access. I do readings for people who have had loved ones that has transitioned. Okay. And I also do intuitive readings for people who've had loved one that transitioned, so you can get messages or whatever needs to come through. Okay. And I have found out a lot even about doing that type of work because is everybody does not have the same experience and everybody does not land in the same place when they die. Let me just put it that way, right? There isn't really no good or bad about it, but not everybody dies and go have the same experience, okay? Everybody does not go to what we call a heaven, okay? Everybody does not go back into reincarnating into a body, all right? Just like I had somebody that died, Kelly had somebody that died recently, I think within the past 2 weeks. And when I went in to do the transmission for that young lady, she didn't die and go to like the astral world, or she was not waiting to be reincarnated into a new body. She actually died and merged with a different version of herself into a different timeline and into a different dimension. So she died in this dimension, but she did not die in another dimension. She merged. And actually what happened was her soul knew it. She didn't remember in this body, but her soul knew it. Because that was the agreement that she had before coming into this particular life experience. Because your soul can be operating in multiple experiences on different dimensions at different time. I mean, at the same time. Okay? Remember, you're an electrical magnetic being, okay? Electricity can be housed in one place, but it's still electricity, okay? So if you look at it like, okay, how can I tell you? If you look at it like a power plant, right, sending out, that's the main power plant. But from the main power plant, you may have boxes or power boxes around, the apartment complex, around the businesses, right? You have these smaller boxes. You can think of it like that. You have one main housing source where your soul emanates from, and then from that main house, you can send out and have different experiences. But from when you're one soul, so your one soul could be experiencing different things. Okay, we are made of the stars. Surely, we are made of the stars. We're made of the cosmos. Okay, everything on this earth is made of the cosmos. That's exactly why you can talk to other beings. One of my guys that I channel all of the time. As a matter of fact, the guy that told me about the Quasi era is my guide, Tidaqua. His name is Tidaqua. He is from Andromedon. Okay, he's from what you call the Crystal City in Andromedon. And from what he explains to me, the Crystal City is not a place that, so, and this is what they don't tell you, right? So they cannot build a spaceship and go to Andromeda. They fucking can't do that, okay? Because what happens is Andromedon is a resonance and a frequency-based planet, okay? So if your fucking resonance don't match, and if you wasn't invited, you can't fucking get in. Okay, you cannot get in. That energy, you have to be of a certain resonance to get in. So if you're still thinking about people are evil and people are, and people are demons and shit, you fucking can't get into that type of energy because you have not mastered the one rule, which is the rule of consciousness, which all is one. We're not separated from anything. And if you're not able to see yourself in all, whether it's a plant, whether it's a rock, whether it's a stone, if you're not able to see when you're being a rock sometimes, when sometimes you're a plant, when sometimes, you act shitty to other people. If you're not able to see yourself in everything, you cannot gain access to some of these planets and some of these realms because you don't have the right vibration. So you can't be down here building bombs and think that you're getting into the Andromedon frequency and constellation because you're fucking not. Okay. So one of my guys is Tidaqua, and he's from Andromedon, the Crystal City. Okay. And he's also in a group called the Quasis. All right. The Quasis is a group of conscious beings. And their energy resonates through our DNA. So that's why they're here right now. They're here to help us access the DNA. I don't know if any of you have heard about the Kabbalions, like the principles, the 7 principles of the Kabbalion. Have y'all heard of that? Yeah. That's another rule. Do no harm to no one. Because when you do harm to someone, you do harm to yourself. So that's a universal law. Do all to no one. Man, Star Trek back in the day, I'm telling you that okay, Star Trek and all of that, yes. Okay. So you have not heard of the Kabbalion. Okay, so we're going to get into that next week, okay? Because I have to establish some foundations in the Kabbalion first before we go through the 12, the access to the 12, okay? So the Kabbalion, and if you want to just Google it, you can, okay? The Kabbalion has 7 Hermetic principles in there, okay? And those 7 principles are locked to, because remember, anytime you see 7, anytime you see 12, anytime you see 3, and anytime you see 5, right? Anytime you see a repeated number, that is linked to many different systems, okay? So what we're doing here is that we're unlocking those systems so you can know how the energy flows along each system, okay? The Kabbalion has a system of 7. It's a system of 7 principles that explain to you how the universe works, okay? What the Kabbalion does not do, however, it only locks you into the 7 principles for the 7 chakras. It does not give you the 5 hidden principles. There is 5 hidden principles, okay? There's 5 hidden principles that they did not put in the Kabbalion. Just like when you look at the what is that thing called? The tree of life, when they do the parlors, and there is they give you 10 spheres, right? But there's 2 spheres missing. It should be a total of 12. It shouldn't be 10. It's a total of 12 spheres. And what they don't tell you, the 2 spheres that's missing, right, in the tree of life, has to do with your positive and your negative charge, right? That is your positive and negative charge. That's your feminine and your masculine energy that needs to be able to be activated to run that energy up and down the parlors, okay? They don't teach you that stuff because you were never meant to really read that stuff to keep you stuck. But what they forgot was this shit is already in your DNA. So they can burn the books, they can hide the messages, right? But you already know this shit. So, and I already explained to you the timelines. I didn't get into the timelines today, but if you've watched any of my past videos, you know what timeline we're on. You know why you know what you know, and you know why you're waking up right now. They cannot change that. What's happening, this mass awakening that's happening right now, cannot be changed. It's in the fucking cosmos. Although they changed the calendar system to the Gregorian and before that the Julian and whatever else, right? So every time you had a nation that took over another nation, they changed everything. They changed the money system, they changed the calendar system, right? So we've had different calendar systems throughout time, but they never really put back a calendar system that read the cosmos and the earth, right? The cosmos, the earth, which is a solar system. So you got the solar system and you got the cosmos. You need both systems, right? Because as above, so below. So they have you thinking as above is just the sun. No, as above is not just the sun. The sun is actually the below. We're in the realm of the sun, right? The above is the universe, the galaxies, and the below is us, the sun, and the earth. We get affected by all of that stuff out there, right? And they don't teach you enough that the cosmic dust that's coming in now, that's being activated through these what do they call them? These they're not comets. These comets, okay, are activation energies, and you can find that in the freaking ancient calendar system. If they did not change the year when they took over, okay, when they colonized, if they did not change the calendar system, we would be currently in the year 7530. If you don't believe me, go do your fucking research. It is out there for you to find it. That is part of the Bulgarian calendar system. To this day, it is one of the best ancient calendar and most accurate calendar system known to man. Why? The reason why is because it tracked not just the sun's system, okay, that we follow now in the Bulgarian calendar. It also tracks the cosmos. So if you're tracking the sun and the cosmos, you would know what the fuck is going on with the comets, what's going on with the awakening. So 2025 is a distorted timeline because there was 5,500 years and approximately given 5 to 10 days change in the calendar. That's why none of your fucking history and astrology, when you go into what do they call that when they dig shit up? I can't remember, y'all. My brain, I can't remember. When they go dig stuff up, archaeology. Okay, this is why archaeology have a very difficult time stamping some of the things, and why some archaeologists are saying no. Well, the water stain on the Sphinx doesn't match the time that you put in it because the fucking calendar is wrong. Of course, it's not gonna match. Okay. Yeah, Cheryl, it's actually 5,500 years. It's more than 2,000. The year of the Aquarian was announced in the 40-year version. It was. And and they would like you to think that we just stepped into the age of Aquarius, but that's bullshit. We've been here for almost 100 years. So we are fully now in the Aquarian age. We are fully. Miss T said every time I speak, she go down a rabbit hole. She go down a rabbit hole weekend. Oh, your mom wanted to be an archaeologist? Wow. So you got some, see, you got some stuff in your blood, girl. Okay. You got so much stuff in your blood. Yeah. Yeah. The calendar, yeah, they changed their calendar system. Um, and it is approximately 5,500 years, give or take, um, 5 to 10 days. All right. So right now it would be, no, what are we in now? So right now in the real cosmic calendar, it would be the 11th month, because they don't go January, February, December, right? They go 11th month. It would be the 11th month, the 15th day. Okay. So it would be 11/15/75/30. Okay. And I explained to you guys, and I explained, see, okay, see? You see what Vila said? You see what Vila said? Vila is telling you that 75 years a year ago was the timeline of Krishna. Now, I would even go back to say that that is not even correct, because they fucking changed the time, right? I would go back to say that, because, so if we're going back 75,000 years ago, right? So let's add that in. Let's add, so if we add to what we have now, 2025 plus 75,000 years, right? That's 5, that's 2, that's 5, 2 and 7 would be 9,000. That would be 9,525 years total, right? So that would be about 10,000 years ago is how they want you to map it out. But let me just give you all some truth here. There ain't never been a fucking time that human beings haven't been on the planet. There ain't never been a time when you haven't been on the planet. Y'all know that they got in museums human beings' feet next to the dinosaurs that was in crystallized with the dinosaurs. Y'all know that? Do y'all know that? Y'all know they got human being feet fossilized with dinosaurs. See, they don't teach us this shit. They got human beings with what they call those elephants back in the days, those big elephants. I forgot what they call them. With the ancient elephants. I can't remember what they call. But they were finding human fossils even way back then in the age of dinosaurs, when we were supposed to be fucking extinct. And, I mean, not even, the earth wasn't even seeded yet. So no, my loves, our times are off. There's never been a time on the face of this earth where you did not have human beings. That's just not true. And then also, let me take you back to, even if we're going back to 10,000 years ago, right? 10,000 years ago, we had already lost a lot of our access to interdimensional traveling, right? So when you go back and you look at things like Star Trek, when you could dissolve and get to, like dissolve from the ship and get to another planet, man, we was doing that shit. This ain't nothing new. If you go look at some of them hieroglyphs have fucking UFOs and airplanes and helicopters in the fucking hieroglyphs. We still have technology from ancient times till this day. They cannot figure out how they burnt fucking copper in the degree in which they burnt it at in ancient times. So, some may say, now listen to me now, right? Some may say, depending on if you are realizing that you're in the upside down world, we are really in the past, and the ancient Egypt is the future. We haven't even evolved yet to the technology from ancient Egypt. The pyramids that they call tombs, those are not tombs. Those are fucking part of the electrical grid. And it wasn't just an electrical grid for electricity in a place. It was an electrical grid for your fucking body. It was resonance energy. And within those resonance energy, you couldn't get to places like fucking Andromeda. Beings were traveling back in and out, right? Atlantis was not just on Earth. Atlantis had access to all the planetary. Atlantis was part of all of the planets. Atlas. We could travel multidimensionally. They are for activation. They are stargates. They are stargates. This is why you can find pyramids and mounds all over the globe. They're not just in Egypt. Like right here in Georgia, Stone Mountain is a fucking pyramid. It's a granite quartz pyramid, Stone Mountain, right here in my neighborhood. Okay? I love you too, Cheryl. So here's what they've been hiding from you. Okay? No matter what drugs they put out to try to kill you, no matter what programming they try to pull out to stop you or slow you down, they cannot change the energy. You are organic. You are organic, which means when this energy comes in and it hits the crystalline grid, okay, the crystals grid, those of you that are supposed to be graduating at this point in time, you are going to wake up. They cannot do anything to stop that. They can slow it down. Okay. We're not even going to talk about the fucking sacred geometry that be putting up in the sky. Do y'all notice they put up sacred geometry in the skies? Oh shit, I probably shouldn't talk about that shit. I probably should not talk about that shit. But they put up here in Georgia, they do. You can just walk outside and you look up and there's a whole sacred geometry up in the sky. It looks like clouds, but you can clearly tell that there's sacred geometry in the sky. Why the fuck are you putting up sacred geometry in the sky? We're in a magical place, y'all. You just need to remember who you are. And the technology is not outside of you. The technology is in you. This is why they try to dumb down the food. Right? This is why they try to dumb you down with fear. But can I tell you something? I don't know if you remember that part in the Matrix when Homeboy betrayed the group when he was eating the steak and he said, I know this shit ain't real, but it tastes so good. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Cheryl, you can look at the clouds and you can tell, like, and I even pointed out to the kids sometimes I'm like, don't that look like a cartoon cloud to y'all? Like, do that cloud even look real, y'all? I've had an experience in meditation one time where I saw the sky just pixelized, like literally turned into pixels. When you start to see things you can't unsee. And it's not even about fighting a higher power, against, man, like when you start to wake up, you understand that even the government got their part to play. Everybody got their part to play. So you don't get distracted with politics. You don't get distracted with religion. You don't get distracted with entertainment. You don't get distracted with social media because you understand all of that is distraction, right? It's just distraction to keep you away from you. Because once you awaken, you cannot unsee what you now see. You can't. And I'm going to give you another thing. 5D is not here to kill you or to slow you down. 5D is here to block you from elevating energetically. So all these 5G towers that they're putting up and people saying, oh my gosh, 5G is going to kill. No, it's not. You fucking electricity. It's just here to slow you down. It's here to it's here to fragment your fucking DNA. They're sending out okay, my guys are telling me don't go no more with that, so I'm going to stop. I'm being told to not go any further with that, so I'm going to stop. I knew when I could go to Stone Mountain, I could hear, yep, in my inner ear. Oh, you went to, oh, really? Okay, so you're from, okay, Miss T. So you know what I'm talking about. There's a resonance there that you cannot explain on Stone Mountain. Yeah. Yeah. I would probably have to talk about this stuff, Shirley, like on a private. That's how I got shadow banned last time, so I'm not going to do that again. But I will probably talk about that a lot more. But just do your research, and your inner knowing is going to tell you enough. Okay, so The scene in the Matrix when they told you, you know, homeboy said, I know the steak is not real, but it tastes so fucking good, right? And as he was eating the steak, right? They cannot. This is why you can have somebody that believes in love and joy and happiness and eat bacon every day and take a lick of their shot, you know, take a shot, you know, every day and, you know, party and smoke cigarettes and still live to be 100. And the person that's a vegan, right, that treats their body like a temple, done checked out of here at 50. But you got somebody that's been drinking alcohol, eating bacon all their life, and they live to be 99. Right? They live to be 99. It's a mental and emotional game. It's a game of resonance, okay? As a man, think it, so it is. Go back to any of your ancient, or even shit. You don't even have to go back to your ancient books. Go if you study Buddhism, you can find that shit in Buddhism. If you study you're Muslim, you can find that shit in your what is it, the Quran. If you're Christian, you can find that shit in the Bible. It tells you. Yeah, I'm telling y'all. Yes, Miss T, research. Okay. Well, Shirley, I'm giving you a big hug right now. Sending you hugs back. Okay. Oh no, we finna get into ourselves. We finna do all the magical shit that they put in movies and tell you it's a movie. No. You know, in the movies when they talk about fairies and stuff, fairies exist. I have fairy guides. I got 3 guides outside of the nature guides. Grace, Vicurious, and Mendingo. And I didn't make these names up. These trees gave me their name. And then I went and I did the research and found out how the trees resonate, and my mouth dropped. You are connected to nature. You're connected to the air. You're connected to the water. You're connected to the animals. Springtime, I would be outside walking in the grass, and it'd just be a whole bunch of bees. And the bees don't bother me. Like, the bees are buzzing around in the flower, and I'm just walking in the field with the bees. Okay? It's not it's magical once you awaken to you are the magic. You're the one creating the magic. You're the one creating the magic. Even if you pay attention to your movies tell you what part they're attacked in, right? If you watch a movie and they got all of the chakra colors, they coming out the all your systems. They tell you what they're going to be, you know, depending on the movie, you know. More particularly, if you look at these children movies, man, they be having so much code up in these children movies. It's this sad. My son is into anime. And I smile because he got these freaking awesome freeform dreads, you know, and he got this curly hair, so he got freeform curly dreads. It's so cute. But my son is into anime, and he's also an empath. Okay. And when he comes back and he tells me these things, I'm like, oh, well, see, did you know that mean da 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 da? He was like, oh yeah, Mom, I know, and da 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 da. He was like, yeah, none of this shit is even fucking real. Like, he just goes in, right? And he's learned a lot of that through anime. Anime has woken up a lot of his latent memory. Miss T, girl, me and you both. Me and you both. You know, one of my animal spirits is a fruit fly named Will. Whenever I see Will pop up, Will just be popping up randomly. I could be in the bathroom doing my hair, and Will just pop up. And Will pops up, and when Will pops up and I listen and I tune in, I get messages that I can fucking verify, y'all. We forgot the magic here because we were reprogrammed. We forgot that we're magical, Shirley, because we were reprogrammed. So, you know, but it's a beautiful time because we're waking up and we found each other again. We made an appointment for us to be here at this time, at this space, so we can help support each other in our remembering process, okay? Remember, what they call the awakening process is part of your remembering process. Awakening really is remembering, okay? Awakening is remembering. How long we been on here, y'all? Okay, y'all. I think I can stay on here, y'all, forever. You know, I can. But I need to unwind and go do some journaling, and I need to get myself together for tomorrow. You know, for y'all, I need to go take my notes and write some stuff down. Okay. Um. Oh yeah. You were supposed to. Yeah, we planned this a long time ago. That was part of your pre-birth. Okay. Because what you said, Shirley, are we the same age? I think you said you're 49 too, so that means that you had the same pre-birth entry as I did, right? You would have had the same pre-birth entry as I did, right? Yeah, we finna have so much fun over here. I'm so back. I'm so rested. Okay, I'm back. I'm rested. I'm wiser. Okay, I'm healer. If that's even a thing. Yeah, you know, like, can you be healer? Okay, because I don't know if you're really ever completely healed, right? Because there's so many layers to this, right? So you, as you are unfolding, you're always gonna be able to remember another level or another layer of yourself, right? So there's an ongoing process. The minute you think you got God or source figured out is the minute you might as well give it up because you have no clue. Okay, no clue. Dragonflies named Daisy. Miss T. You know, I be having dragonflies show up too. When Kelly Mama come to visit me, she comes in dragonflies. Kelly Moms visits us in dragonflies. She speaks to us in dragon. Yeah, she shows up as a dragonfly. My dad comes in as a red robin. Yep, you got your spiritual animals. They will. People forget who. Yep, you do. You connect to everything. You can speak to everything. Okay. You can speak to your water. You can speak to your food. You can speak to the trees. You can speak to everything. Everything. Okay. Including your body. Including your mind. Including your heart. Including your muscles. All right. Okay. Let me know if y'all are interested in the 144 and what that means, because that's definitely connected to the 72 angels, the 72 names of God, and the 72 demons. I don't want to give y'all too much information that you need because not everybody. I just thought it was interesting because I know like a couple of weeks ago you had that whole rapture thing that Kelly was telling me about. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard about that. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Kelly was telling me there was this whole big thing about the rapture. Like people were thinking like, you know, God was coming back. There was a big rapture going on. And I don't think I really went down that rabbit hole outside of the one of the days that she told me, like, people really selling their cars. She said, but I don't want to go look at it. And I did. I went researching it for her to let her know what was going on. But the rapture did happen, but not the way people think. The rapture is people remembering themselves, right? So you have some people that's still in the old timeline where you're indoctrinated and there's a lot of dogma, right? So you're gonna you're gonna be there, and you got people over here, right? That was raptured, aka we awakened, we're remembering, wishing for death and sin, and not even know that sin. That's what they used to call the moon in ancient time. The moon was called sin, right? And the moon is connected to what? The moon is connected to your emotions. The moon is connected to your emotions. And what happens when you don't have your emotions in control? What happens when somebody else is puppeteering your emotions? Okay? And sin simply means missing the mark. That's all sin means, right? The hell in which you seek is already here. The heaven in which you seek is already here. Okay? Yep. And the ocean. Ocean controls your emotions. So if the ocean controls your emotions, you need to know that anything with water represents emotions. So if you have 70% water in your body, that means that you are controlled. That's the most powerful resonant form in your body is emotions. Life is exactly what you make it. It's magical. Oh, yeah, y'all know what I've been doing lately? Oh, my gosh. Okay, first of all, let me tell y'all what I've been doing lately. I have been going in and I don't know his face, but I know his energy. I have been going in and meeting my healed version of myself in my person, right? I've been going into meditation, and it's not so much that I go purposely looking for him. Like I go into meditation and like his energy would pop up and I'll go visit him. Yeah. Can I tell you something though, Shirley? Your body will transmute all of that shit. So your body will take poison and transmute that poison and make it work for you. But all of that goes, it has to be, you have to be in a place mentally and emotionally. So what they call, everybody has a melanin in their body, okay? Everything on the face of this earth has melanin in their body. So if you, like I said, if you go watch his dark material, that dark substance they're talking about is melanin, okay? And everybody and everything on the face of this earth has some level of melanin in their body. That is a secret agent that they're trying to figure out how that works, okay? It's not just about being a melanated being. So it's not just my fucking skin color. Like they try to separate us by a skin color. That's also a distraction, okay? Skin color is also a distraction, just so you know. I will say to you now, skin color is is important when it comes to genetics and what you have access to, you know, DNA wise, right? But as far as us fighting because of skin color, that's not universal. That's to separate you, right? That's to separate you. So just like you have people from the Pleiades, you know, Nibiru, like they like to say, Andromedon, right? Just like you have those people and they have different resonance and different vibration, we also have different resonance and vibration based on melanin and our DNA, right? So being this color does not make us better or different than anybody, right? It lets you know that we hold maybe more memory and we be more ancient in memory to some people. But let me tell you how this works, right? So you can be melanated in this lifetime and walk around hating white people, and then you reincarnate as a white person. So just so you know, the universe don't do this. The universe don't do based on color. No, it's based on a lesson. It's lesson. It's DNA. Okay. Now I will say to you, you okay. Thank you, Miss T. I'm finna wrap it up. Okay. And we're gonna get into that next time. I will say to you, okay, don't believe the hype about separation because of race. It's a DNA thing. And when you reincarnate back into this body, if you was on here murdering a whole bunch of black people, it's very possible that you could be reincarnated with a black body. Right? If you've been out here beating on a whole bunch of women as a man, it's very possible that you would be reincarnated back into a woman's body. Okay? That's how that shit work. Okay? Okay, so Miss T just let me know that I need to wrap it up because I've been on here for 3 hours. I've hit the 3-hour mark. Miss T, I gotta say, this is my first 3-hour mark, y'all. Okay, we made it, y'all. Okay, divide and conquer is what they want to do. Okay? Yeah, but we all have different purposes here, right? So because I just hold a different key to this, what we call life. Because of this, I hold a different key. I have different activations. You understand? I have different things that I'm doing, but it doesn't mean that I'm better. It just means that I have different access. Okay. All right. So y'all know the deal. I will be back here tomorrow. Make sure that you like, subscribe. Okay. Put on that notification bell because I don't know what time I may be back, but I know I will be back. Okay. So you want to go ahead and do something kind for yourself because you absolutely freaking should. Okay. And you also want to do something kind for somebody else, not because you should, but because you can, because confidence is contagious. Joy is contagious. Happiness is contagious, okay? And being you is also contagious. It gives somebody else the opportunity to then be themselves, okay? I love you guys much, and I will see you guys tomorrow in our lives, okay? Love you guys much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You'll get the mental zap, yeah. Yeah, Shirley, yeah. I think and my voice is also telling me that I've been talking too much. I need to go rest it. I love you guys. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Okay, have a great evening. Shirley, go get you some sleep, girl. Okay. Love y'all much. Bye. Thank you, Miss T, for giving me a time check.